Welcome back. Love Boat Project, episode 33.
Wow.
I am Mike Robertson, along with Mike Taylor. Mike, I usually have some question to ask you to start these things, related to the episode.
Sure.
My question this week is, what the hell was that? What was this episode?
Yeah, this is a weird... I mean, we always go, oh, this episode, shaking fist, but this was... And you had some pretty top-notch writers, so I don't... It was like a nothing episode. It was very weird.
It was funny. It's not exactly a one-to-one, but it's right around the same time the infamous Ray Bolger episode that you disliked so much, which was a wacky episode. Now, that was a much hornier episode, but that was episode 7 of the season. This is episode 8. I wonder if this is just like last week with the 90 minutes and the big Stubing thing, if they were just like, here's a bunch of junk.
So, I guarantee there's no way this episode aired during sweeps week.
But it did. This is November.
I thought it might be after, or just, because this is just not.
Yeah.
Whoever thought this was a solid episode to have on. But don't get me wrong, it wasn't a bad episode. It was just a nothing episode. Like
I think
every storyline was the third storyline.
Disagree.
Really?
About this being a bad episode. So.
It's just
it was yes, you're right. Every storyline was a third storyline. Yeah. And that always is a bad recipe. I also don't understand how an episode where you have a woman talking to her dead husband is not the least logical storyline. But yet, I digress.
Or at least believable storyline. Let's say that.
Anyway. We are here tonight to talk about episode 8 of season 2 of The Love Boat. The titles for this one, at least they put some effort into the titles. I'll give them that. Till Death Do Us Part, maybe? Question mark. Locked Away and Chubs. It should have been like C.H.U.
Yeah, like that carnivorous humanoid underground dweller. It's a great horror movie.
Rodents of an additional size.
Yeah.
We'll get into the synopsis. Original air date, November 11th, which is
Veterans Day,
and that is sweeps month. I assume it works like that still. 1978. The synopses, as pulled from IMDb, widow Ellen Garner is followed by her husband Mickey's ghost. Ghosts again.
Oh boy.
Who tries to fix her up. That's nice. Divorced couple Les and Gail see their daughter and her husband off, but get locked in an unused cabin. Which we're gonna spend an hour and a half on that.
So. I've got some thoughts on that. Yeah.
And then what I think is probably the A storyline, but not A execution.
What, alphabetically?
Gopher's
Chubbs comes first.
Jennifer makes a beeline for Doc. So initial thoughts, Mike.
Number one, going in, thoughts going in as I started to sort of look at the information behind the episode, which I like to do just to go, okay, here's the storylines, here's the synopsis. Who are the players?
Right.
If you look at just these people in a list form, right, without the characters they play, this is a stacked episode.
It really is a good cast.
I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis, Greg Morris, come on. Mission Impossible?
And it's funny, those two people are the only two people from this episode who we will not see again.
That's right. That's right. I mean, Conrad Bain, huge star back then.
Conrad Bain, I was shocked, just 8 days after the debut episode of Different Strokes. So Todd Bridges was on pre the first episode.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
So,
I wonder if we'll get
so you
Arnold
might have a
Drummond.
shot at Gary Coleman now, which I did not think was possible.
Do we have a better shot at Gary Coleman or what was her name? The
No, we
daughter.
have plenty of shot at Dana Plato. What
You
I'm
think?
saying is Gary Coleman will get too big at some point. If you're gonna get him,
Yeah,
it's
he did those
probably this
movies,
season.
and
Yeah.
it's got to be this year, next year.
What you
If it,
talking about stubing? But he can't say that, so it's like,
no, what,
"Parlez-vous
what? Yeah.
français?"
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's just
Um,
heavy hitters. I mean, and Denny Terrio
yeah, and then,
is
like, an
also in this.
uncredited role?
Yeah, that was he didn't do much in the episode, but um, yeah, that's interesting to me. It's just loaded. It's just loaded.
Yeah, and
Um,
and what they did with that load is very different.
questionable at best.
Um,
Yeah.
the you bring up Jamie Lee Curtis, and we've talked
Mhm.
about this before, biggest star and everything, and the funny part is when they filmed this, she probably is just known as Janet Leigh's daughter. She's doing an episode with her real life mother. That's probably the hook, right?
Well, was
But
this before or after Psycho?
Halloween was
Or not
in the
Psycho, I'm
theater.
sorry, Halloween.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Halloween was in the theater 2 weekends before this aired.
Oh, so they didn't even
So,
know that
they didn't even
she
know
was
what
gonna be
they
on a
had,
wave.
and it's obvious they didn't know what they had because,
They didn't do anything with
they
her.
didn't do anything. Like, to the point where I almost wonder if those boring ass scenes between her and Wayne were
Wayne is
thrown in to try, like, after it was
like
already
lost
shot.
footage just to
Right. Because think about it, nothing happened in those scenes.
well, there was no interaction with anybody else other than Conrad Bain and Janet Leigh
Eh, which is
at
wild,
all,
right?
which is wild.
Like, that is
Again, the
wild.
the Janet Leigh thing, when I said Psycho, I meant Janet Leigh was in
Yes.
Psycho. I got them
Yeah.
sort of confused. Yeah, it was weird. And the other thing in here, there's no captain's table. There's no like united area where you're going to bump into people in different storylines. They kept these stories so far apart, right? You don't see, Greg Morris, or Greg Elkin's character. He doesn't run
Yeah.
into Conrad Bain.
Right.
Like Wayne doesn't run into Ellen Gar.
And
Nobody interacts with anybody.
the crew thing is 100% right because I was very focused on it. So Julie's the only person who's in the ghost storyline,
Yeah.
and Isaac literally talks to Wayne right at the end for 2 seconds as uh, Drummond and
Yeah.
Gale are coming out.
Well, and
That's it.
all he did was he made that drink. First drink he's ever made on the show, by the way. And
Well, I
then
was
in
going
the
to ask you if that counted because he just kind of hit a blender. I didn't know if that
yeah,
counted. So,
I didn't see him mix it. Technically, he didn't. He hit a button. But in the beginning, he wasn't in his normal.
right. It was, and I'll say this:
Yeah.
it didn't look as nice as the last couple episodes are. So if
Mm-mm.
you told me this was shot out of order,
This could
kind
be
of more
season one to me.
in that
Yeah.
first group, you know what it really felt like? And
Hmm.
we almost need to do a Julie's hair length comp. It
I did
felt like
notice that.
Julie's parents episode, right down to the music in the
Hmm.
Acapulco Lounge is
Yep.
that same sax clarinet mashup. So
I was waiting when they kept showing the band for her to go up and play it again, Sam. Like use that same footage as before.
the other thing is, and this is also what made me think it's early in the season because like we ran into this during the hurricane,
Hmm.
very small sets. We're very tight
Yeah.
in on Julie's cabin, which we have seen is huge. We've
Yeah.
seen entire acts in there. She's got this much room to hang up some clothes.
Which
That one
who, you hang up clothes inside?
we can't hang them up on a boat. You're the one who's always talking about wind. They would go right overboard.
That's true, but I just never, right in front of the door just didn't seem like I don't know where to
The
hang
bigger
these, but they have to be in front of the door.
the bigger problem is, hey Meryl, let's maybe get up from the birthday cake and get your friggin' dryer fixed. That's ridiculous.
I'll give him another 5 minutes. He waited 45 minutes. 'Cause you know why? Because he wanted that cake.
He
Come on,
did.
that's what he wanted. He should be
That
called
that's
Captain Cake. He chased it with a donut in his, this 3:00 donut. He was so excited.
3 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, he's sitting there eating the cake and giving it the 2-finger salute. Come on,
Oh, that's
Stuving,
funny.
get a hold of yourself.
We'll get into the cast, like you
Yeah.
said, though. It is stacked.
Stacked.
And then some interesting choices about who didn't make the portals again,
Yeah.
but and I have to offer a correction
Really?
as well. We'll get to that. We have 2
Okay.
corrections on the show tonight.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that?
Well, that's exciting.
What else is on before we get into it?
Please be a new episode of
Let's head
that
back
terrible women show, that terrible girl show.
head back to Colorado for part 5 of Centennial.
Oh.
This week's episode is named The Massacre.
Oh.
Settle in.
Oof.
As wars rage across America in the mid 1800s, a militiaman from Minnesota, Frank Skimmenholm,
What, just played by Jesse the Mind? What a great role for him.
takes
In the Baja.
takes his personal vendetta to Colorado in an effort to kill all Indians, including the
All?
Pasquinel brothers. All Indians.
It's just
all
all.
Indians.
Boy, he's I'll
biting
tell you
off
what,
more than you there,
he's
Frank.
ambitious. I'll tell you what, nothing more American than ambition.
Not gonna lie, probably would have watched that instead of
I would have watched that. Wait, who played him again?
Oh God. So in that episode was Robert Conrad, Alex Karras.
Oh,
and
that's the massacre guy
Timothy
right there.
Dalton. So it could be any of these. It could be any of these fine filled.
I mean, George is out there killing every Native American. It's great.
Yeah. Tune into Centennial Project for more details on episode 5.
That's awful.
This was a white whale to find, and I couldn't find any information on CBS. Not American Girls. Hollywood's Diamond Jubilee.
What?
Which is a celebration of the 75th birthday of Hollywood, hosted by Raquel Welch and Douglas Fairbanks.
Hollywood was only 75 years old at this point? Hollywood what? Like, that doesn't make sense, does it?
Listen, they wiped this thing from the internet. I can't find anything about it.
What are they celebrating?
I don't know. But the frustrating thing is, not only can you not find anything, because all it said in the note I saw was that like includes appearances by Woody Allen, Marlon Brando, James Cagney, who is alive in 1978, which is crazy. But you can't find anything. You can't find like IMDb's got nothing on it. There's no Wikipedia page. There's nothing on YouTube. And here's the more frustrating thing: there was a movie in 1978 called Jubilee, and so when you Google it, that's what comes up. So lost to the ages.
What's with the cloak and dagger? I wonder why that's so hard to.
Maybe something happened.
Maybe.
Maybe somebody like you threw a light on the fact that Hollywood's not 75 years old.
Yeah, Hollywood's not 75. That's what it is. Pull the plug. We're really 83 years old. Pull it.
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
But the most important thing I want to talk about tonight, and I felt like this was a good episode to do it because, let's be honest, we've got some time on the back end of this episode.
Yes, we do.
I have in my hand.
Yo, okay.
The official, final 1978-79 Nielsen ratings.
Ooh, that's exciting. Okay.
This is brought to us by our good friends at TVRatingsGuide.com.
Thank you.
Sorry, the TVRatingsGuide.com.
The TVRatingguys.com. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right. So we can go a lot of places here, but how do you want to do this? You want to guess what place Love Boat's in? Do you want to? I feel like the numbers are not going. The share numbers are not going to mean much. I will just say they're all big. But I have the rankings of where they finished.
Well, let me ask.
1 to about 115 shows are listed here. So
are they in the top 10?
They are not in the top 10.
Are they in the top 15?
They are not in the top 15.
Top 20?
Yes.
Okay. I bet you they're like 17, 18.
They are 17. Yes. Thanks to that brilliant way to cut it down. You got it. So they're 17th, but They are the top-rated show on Saturday night, not just in their time slot. They are the top-rated show on
The
Saturday night.
entire evening.
Yeah.
How far behind is Fantasy Island?
We're gonna get to all this.
Okay, because I'm wondering what kind of bump that
I
gives.
have
Okay.
all our friends from this season so far. I have their rankings,
Oh,
and
okay.
some of them are exactly where you think they are.
Okay.
The interesting thing is ABC dominates apparently at this point. The top
Everything?
6 shows are ABC, all ABC comedies. How many of the 6 top-rated shows of 1978-79, all comedies on ABC, can you name? 3-strike
ABC.
rule.
Well, Three's Company.
That's number 2.
Happy Days.
That's number 4. You should get 2 more. You will never get 1, and you maybe can pull your last one out as a guess.
Different Strokes wasn't ABC, and it was too young. Jefferson's was not ABC.
Jefferson's was very low in the ratings. You'd be surprised.
I'm
Like
surprised. I am very surprised. I'm trying to think. The most difficult part here is the network affiliation for these shows.
Yeah.
So the first two were those 2 were easy.
Yeah.
Get crazy and say the Ropers, maybe 1, but
Number 6, correct. Yes.
really okay.
Yeah.
The Ropers,
Which
I
had
love
to be
the
like a
theme
time
song.
slot thing. It just had to be
Yeah,
a time slot thing. Yeah.
because that show was a huge flop in the end. Like
Right.
it didn't last very long, but had
And the
the
thing is,
greatest.
no offense to our friends at theTVRatingsGuide.com, but they don't like mention how many episodes a season was. I think they just put everything. So,
My favorite TV theme song is for the Ropers, by the way. If you have a chance to
oh, is it
check
like,
it out, it's
yeah.
yep. Oh, it's
Yeah.
great. Okay, so
Mine
that's the
is 8 is
3.
Enough, sung by Captain Dave.
I feel like we know him. This guy's a jerk, but we know him. He's basically counting in the song. He just goes all the way to 8, and he's like, "All right, enough. I'm good." So I'm missing a show. I'm missing a comedy.
You're missing
We got
3 comedies, but
really
yeah. Yeah. You're missing the number 1 show.
the
You're missing the
number.
number 3 show, and I'll give you the 5. You'll never get the 5.
Give me the 5.
Angie, which was
Angie.
very short-lived and starred, among others, former Love Boat guest Robert Hayes.
It's a comedy? I've never heard of that
Yeah,
show,
if I
ever.
remember correctly I've run across this in, like I think it's set in Philadelphia, which is probably how I ran across it.
Oh, I just
And I
thought
think it's like Angie is like a single gal on the,
right.
it's like
Oh,
Mary Tyler Moore for the younger generation or something like that. So.
Soap's gotta be on the list. We have a
Soap
million
is
different people from Soap.
not top. Soap is ABC. I think it was just in the top 20, but not one of these.
Maude?
These are
Was
pretty big
Maude?
shows. That's CBS.
Barney Miller?
CBS.
Oh,
You're way past your strikes.
yeah,
So
I'm good. Yeah, what?
the 2 episodes or the 2 shows coming in at number 3, Mork and Mindy. Mork and Mindy.
Didn't even I don't even know why I didn't think about that.
The number 1 show, we have not had their stars on yet, but we have had the parents of one of the leads. That's right. From the program that gave you Barry Keys, it's Laverne and Shirley. The number 1 rated program in 1979.
Why didn't I said Happy Days. Why didn't I think of because essentially
No
those are
idea.
2
The same
spin-offs
universe.
from
Yeah,
Happy
it's the
Days.
same universe. Yeah, it's the Milwaukeeverse.
Interesting.
Finally, in this very important segment, I have the list of all the shows we've talked about this year and where they rank.
Okay.
Coming in at 22, so just a few spots behind the Love Boat, is Fantasy Island. So they basically kept the Love
They're
Boat
getting
audience.
that Love Boat bump, basically.
Yep. So, coming in at 28, we just talked about it. Our friends in Colorado, Centennial.
Yeah.
Because it had so many episodes.
Yeah.
It had 12 episodes.
People love that stuff too.
Yeah. Just behind them at 29 is Chips. Tied actually with What's Happening.
Wow.
And we'll get back to What's Happening in a minute here.
Interesting.
Here are some interesting ones. The CBS Saturday night movie.
Yeah.
Which is that the one that's usually a real movie?
It's usually the NBC one that's usually the
Okay.
real movie. CBS
So
is like the
CBS
TV
is
one.
63rd. The
Oof,
NBC Saturday Night Movie is
way up.
71st.
Wow.
So close, but
Close, but
yeah.
yeah.
But so basically, you see Love Boat is crushing these
Well,
other
they're not
shows.
really putting anything against them
Well,
that's like charting anywhere near.
I think the lesson here, and I think it was the
They just
lesson in
they just
television for a long time, nobody's watching TV on Saturday night.
nobody's
So
watching TV, or people are only watching The Love Boat.
they got a 22 share.
Because I
Laverne and
thought,
Shirley got a 30 as the number one.
right, so it's 30
So
million. But I'm wondering back then, see, what's the dead spot for TV now? Is it Friday or is it Saturday?
I mean, it used to always be Friday.
That's what I thought. Why didn't
But
they?
the
They should
thing
have
is
put this on Sunday night.
Nobody
You know?
watches TV live anymore, so it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't
You
matter
can't compare.
anymore. The only live would be sports, so this would be interesting.
The most important number, though, and our
Yeah,
final number here as we wrap up this great segment
this
brought
is a
to
great
you by
segment.
our friends at the TVRatingsGuide.com.
Appreciate it, guide.
The American Girls. Now
Wait,
there are
wait, wait, wait,
about
wait, wait. Hold on, wait, wait,
hold
wait.
on. There are
Don't give
about
it.
115 ranked
Okay,
programs.
that was my question.
Okay.
It's got to be like 105. It's got to be like 105.
107. 107 for the American Girls. Who now the Hollywood Jubilee got them this week. Who knows? I never look ahead, so it's as exciting as when you open the mailbag. I don't know if the American Girls are going to show up, but
All we can hope is next week we get to talk about a new
last,
American Girls episode.
last we heard, the plane went down, and we don't know what happened. So.
Well, no, last we heard the plane went down, and then the next week they showed the pilot again. So, like, who knows? Maybe it really did go down. Poor show.
We hit on some of the credits, the
Mhm.
people that we haven't really talked about yet. Melissa
Yeah,
Sue Anderson plays
big star.
Jennifer Chubbs Smith. She is of Little House on the Prairie. We
8 years.
both we mentioned this when Melissa Gilbert was on. Neither of us really watched Little House. But you're aware of Mary Ingalls as a name of a character I recognized.
Mm-hmm.
The big
She played a blind character, which I thought was interesting too. So her character on that show was blind.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah. I just
So
thought that
this
was
was
interesting.
really then one of those I can do something else.
Yeah, I can play a part where I can see.
Well, but I think she was also trying to play like a sex pot. I don't know that she can do something else. So
Listen, if your nickname is Chubbs, that whole sex bot thing is not going to work out in the course of a 45-minute cruise. It was cringy. Chubbs is cringy.
well, just to add it a little extra cringe, Melissa Sue Anderson is
Yeah.
16 years old when this is being recorded.
Oh, I didn't. I didn't.
That is, I did not
Jesus.
have to look that up. That was pretty prevalent in the just first reviews that you see about this episode. So
That's.
yeah. So she clearly was
Oh,
going for this. Feels like her agent was like, listen, baby, you
we
can't
gotta.
be
I gotta
blind.
roll
You
for
can't be
you.
blind on the prairie all your life.
This is
So
it. We got the perfect guy to work with, Bernie Capel. Oh,
so
that's awful, dude.
we're,
That's
we're
it
not
was
gonna
already cringy when I thought she was 18,
yeah,
and I even thought then I was like,
yeah,
this storyline's a bit much with this whole and with
yeah.
Doc. The fact
Because
that
they
she's
didn't
younger is
mention
just
she was in college until like the second act.
no. That
Like,
was guilt. That was a
yeah,
guilt mention right there. Like,
yeah. So yeah, I
oh,
just wanted to throw that in for full disclosure.
oh boy.
It's acting. That definitely would not happen today.
Yeah, but how would a 16-year-old even know when she says like, "I want
Well,
someone
she's not.
experienced"? I'm like, oh no.
Well, she's not blind. I mean, she's acting,
She's acting.
and there is no kissing here. She tries to kiss Doc, but really, that's
Thank God.
it's not
Well,
great. But it's
that'd
not
have
great
been
regardless if she's 16 or 18. It's not.
either way. Yeah, it was bad at 18. It's really
Yeah.
bad now. All right.
Mr. Drummond himself, Conrad Bain, we talked about.
Proud Canadian, sir.
Another Canadian.
Another
Oh, I
Canadian.
bet you knew
Also
all
has
of that.
a twin brother.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but yeah, he has a twin brother. Did a little acting. Had an odd first name.
Wayne.
It was like Knockrad. Like it was all the same letters as
Oh
Conrad, but
no,
backward. It was like a weird first name.
Darnock.
Darnock. Darnock Bane.
He'll be back a bunch. Melissa
Love him.
Sue Anderson will be back a bunch. Matter of fact, I want to say it's her. She's back in season 9, and the only thing I saw about the season 9 episode, and we're not looking forward to those post Julie seasons, but
No.
the brief synopsis that popped up that I didn't even read the whole thing. I wasn't even trying to read it.
Oh,
Mentioned Lorenzo Lamas and Cesar Romero.
oh wow. I'm hoping it's like a Reno Reigns and a Joker type
Joker
situation. Jeez,
matchup.
that's awesome.
We talked about Jamie Lee Curtis. This obviously is her last episode.
Yeah. She's never coming back.
And this is, you had mentioned this previously, this is how we're going to get big stars. Like big stars to us.
Well, it's going to be like giant swings and misses. I'm sure at some point.
Yeah. Because I'm sure Tom Hanks ends up on this boat at some point, right? You're going to have big stars.
Yeah.
But this is literally like 2 weeks.
Well, like Billy Crystal, like same thing. You get these people early before they know.
Janet Leigh, her mom, as we said in real life. So Conrad Bain is essentially playing Tony Curtis here, I guess. Which, do you think they tried to get Tony Curtis?
I don't. At this point in Tony Curtis's life, I believe he and Janet Leigh were not together.
Yeah.
Apparently, from my research, basically Janet Leigh says in some book that like he just didn't want to be a dad. Like he was Hollywood and
Tony
acting.
Curtis that surprises me.
I don't.
I thought Conrad Bain did a decent job with a pretty garbage storyline. I
agree.
I think they could have gone a little more. I don't know, but maybe it's just because we see him as Philip Drummond. So some people, it's hard to get out of the typecast. You really got to do a good job. Robert Reed.
Like brush your hair differently or something. Do something. You
look
should
like have had. Those missing mustaches you've been complaining about?
Boom.
You should have had a swarthy mustache.
I don't know if that's a. Yeah, maybe. Well, he's Canadian. He can grow facial hair.
Oh,
he should have.
Get a playoff beard, you hoser.
That's what I'm saying.
Greg Morris as Greg Elkins. He, like you said, was in Mission Impossible. Again, I never saw that show.
Oh, I did.
Okay.
Not then, obviously, but I thought it was cool.
This week and next week, we're going to need that Mission Impossible knowledge because
yes, we are.
I am deficient.
I'd like to say something about Greg Morris real quick. So, as you're saying, he was on the original Mission Impossible. He played this electronics expert. Like, everybody had their specialties. Like, it was cool. So, before he died in 1996, he was invited to the premiere of the Mission Impossible movie, the Tom Cruise movie. Mr. Morris lasted about 15 minutes before he got up and walked out of the theater. A reporter asked him what he thought of the movie. I'm sorry. He disliked the movie so much that he left the theater early, calling the movie or talking to. He talked to a reporter and he called the movie an abomination.
Well, if you only watched 15 minutes,
I think. Yeah, I don't know. Well,
and
because it's not the same. I think he was looking. He's like, "Where's Greg Morris? Who's playing Greg Morris in the movie?"
Well, he should have waited because if I remember correctly, the first Mission Impossible, the first 15 minutes, they kill the whole crew.
Yeah.
And
maybe
then
that's what it was.
I think Ving Rhames is essentially Greg Morris, right?
Yeah, I believe so too. Yeah,
I actually kind of like the Mission Impossible movies.
I'm fine with it. I mean, like, I'm not offended in any way. I think they're fun watch. They're exciting watch. They're all right.
Two quick Greg Morris notes. I was like, where do I know him from the most, right? Why is that voice ringing in my head? And I found it. He was Dwayne's father on What's Happening. The guy who ran for city council. Yeah, or mayor or something.
That's an incredibly specific pull.
I was like, I know that voice.
Wow.
I know that voice. So, and the other interesting fact is his son, Phil, would go on to star in the Love Boat reboot that we've talked about.
What is the new Isaac?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I know that he was in it now, and I know that Robert York was in it, and that's the last
Wow.
thing we need to know. There is not enough Patreon money. Yeah, you know what there is. If you put enough
There is.
Patreon money in our pockets, we will do that.
We'll
Those
do it.
shows.
Guaranteed.
But Phil Morris, Greg Morris's son,
Mhm.
also played Jackie Childs on Seinfeld.
No kidding.
So a lot of
Wow.
lineage there. Yeah, it's a pretty
Yeah.
good. It's a pretty good bloodline here.
No kidding. What a strong cast this is. What
Speaking
a
of
waste. Yeah. I know where you're going.
Dynamite,
That's
he's
right.
back.
He's back.
Not since episode 1 have we seen Jimmy J.J. Walker. He is back. He does not have to drive a bugmobile. He gets to
Not
stay
this
on the boat the
time.
whole time, except
Yep.
not really because he's a ghost.
He can still enjoy complimentary drinks, though, apparently. Guess
Yeah,
there's
how'd that
loosey-goosey
work?
rules. Well,
I
else he
went
can
back
shove
to watch
people.
that. I was like, what am I missing? Shouldn't it go
It,
through his.
that's what I thought. I'm like, wait, don't ghost rules apply? Like, if you're a
Yeah.
ghost, they're getting a little,
Yeah, they
they're trying to
tried to
fill up
get
some
out of the
space.
whole fading in and out with like he's only a freshman ghost, but obviously they didn't have the tech.
Just,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm,
He is haunting, I guess, his widow, Renee Watson, who is back. One of our favorites from season 1. I think she maybe
love her.
just missed a stubby nomination.
I agree. Yeah, she
That
was good.
that category was stacked last
Yeah,
year. She was great again as Ellen Garner. We remember her, of course, as Isaac's love interest when she was just trying to write a dissertation by the pool, like
that's
most
right.
people do. And she hated Scatman Carruthers and
Couldn't
all his
stand
noise.
them. All of them.
Episode 16 in our catalog, if you want to go back. Tough break for Peter Caulfield, who is Wayne. I'm gonna call him Wayne the Drain. Wayne
In the
that
train.
sucks.
Just Wayne nothing. Like
But
nothing Wayne.
yeah, but
Yeah.
he doesn't get a portal shot, and he's really the only
Nope.
person. He's in as much as Jamie Lee Curtis is, and he gets zip zilch.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that was pretty
Um,
bad.
Danny Terrio as
Mm,
Floyd. We'll get to him, and he has something to do with the correction, our first correction, but we'll get to that. And then maybe my favorite part of the episode,
I know
and
where you're going.
I will
Nico the
see
drunk.
you at the Stubbies, Mr. and Mrs. Corey's, because BB Drake and
Yeah.
Raymond Allen are the runners this week. They show up 4 times. It is great every time. They probably have 20 lines. I don't think the one guy says more than 4 words. Outstanding.
Well, Raymond Allen. So he played a recurring character on Sanford and Son. He played Esther's husband,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And he was on Good Times as a character called Nico the drunk. And it was a lot of what he did in this episode. It was a lot of those, like he would be a bystander and something crazy. So when I saw him, immediately I was like, "Oh, Nico the drunk," because I'm such a Good Times fan.
Yeah,
These guys were just like those old ladies in
exactly.
the
That's
Kissing Bandit,
100%.
but
So,
it's
and this is
glue.
why
They're great.
now these guys are married, so they would count either way. But this is
Yeah,
why that new category we're going to have this year is best duo, because you're right. It is exactly like the old ladies, and
it's
they should
perfect.
be honored as such. It was pitch perfect, and there's zero reason you cannot have this every other episode.
Every episode, just a new version of this. Every episode would be fantastic. I
So we'll
agree.
explain that in a little more detail when we get on the boat. But
Secret MVPs.
absolutely. Portal Report felt like they were more classic poses. I think we're
Yeah.
getting more towards looking in the camera, like
Hmm.
it's a separate shoot or something like
I
that.
do. Yeah, they're all pretty consistent now.
Janet Leigh did a bit of a star turn into hers, but that's old
You know,
Hollywood.
she's
Come on.
Janet Leigh.
She worked with Hitchcock, man. Come on.
You can't. Yeah, you can't. You can't knock Janet Leigh.
And I would say Jimmy Walker probably as comedy as we've seen in one of these
He's
so far. I mean, he just kind of was like, I'm a ghost,
Well,
kind
he's
of.
such a
But
character. Like
yeah,
he's JJ Walker plays JJ Walker. Like I bet you. I wonder if he's always sort of just like that, or if that's just that comfortable character, because it's not that different than like, okay, what if JJ had died and come back as a ghost? Would he be
yeah.
that much different than that guy?
It's like the George Clooney thing, right? It's either you're the best actor because you're always playing yourself, or you're the worst actor because you're always playing yourself. But
Right.
it's like it does feel like
Like nobody
even
could play
more
JJ like Jimmy Walker could play JJ.
even more
But
than the first episode, I
yeah.
felt like he was more, I'm just Jimmy Walker
Yeah.
as
A,
a ghost.
a ghost.
Barely,
Like
barely as a ghost.
it's excellent. You know, just anything with the same syllables.
Dino-tastic. Anything else before we jump on here?
No, I think we covered it. The only other thing is that Vernee Watson. I think we've already covered it before. She played Will Smith's mom, Viola Smith, on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yep.
But I think we covered that before.
I think we did.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get on the
do it.
boat. And speaking of Renee Watson, Ellen Garner boards the ship and she checks in with Julie. And Julie, apparently this is her first day on the job. She's like, so where's your husband? Which is a question you should not ask unless you know the answer to it.
Yeah, that's like asking somebody who might be overweight if they're pregnant. It's the same thing. And it's a Love Boat. There's plenty of singles.
Yeah.
Like,
And I
what do
mean,
you...
it says it
And she
on
doesn't
the
have a ring on.
it says it on the thing, I
I
think.
know,
Because
she's
Julie looks
just...
down. Anyway, long story short,
Unless
Ellen
they
Garner
booked it
informs
before he died. I don't know.
Ellen Garner 2 years. Ellen Garner informs Julie that she is in fact a widow, and then we get what sounds like the first note of the Bewitched nose twinkle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call. I had a similar note.
And here's JJ. Jimmy Walker. Mickey is his official name. We'll go back and forth as much as possible, but it's Jimmy Walker.
Yeah.
In every form and fashion.
The late Mickey Garner. He just doesn't look like a Mickey Garner. You know what I mean?
No,
It's
no.
JJ.
Mickey Garner sounds like a guy, like a bookie, broke your legs or something. Yeah.
Could be stupid Wayne's name, you know? It just doesn't make any sense.
So they kind of bury the lead here. Sounds like Ellen Garner murdered her husband.
Yeah, with a lighter fluid in coleslaw. I was like, wait, I go, cause of death? He ate coleslaw laced with lighter fluid?
Oh, you think that's what it was?
And then I'm like, what? Didn't you smell it?
So
wouldn't it smell like lighter fluid?
Okay. So what they said was Jimmy Walker's like, I told her to pour the lighter fluid on the coal slowly, and she poured it on the coleslaw. So you're saying he got poisoned. I for whatever reason, immediately went to he lit the coleslaw fire.
Oh, he was but then he would just be a burnt crisp as a ghost.
He went, my last words were, and I thought that was the flash of, does coleslaw light up like a Christmas
I took
tree?
that as he ate a heaping spoonful,
both?
You know, and
maybe it's both.
Well, but if you did that to the coleslaw, wouldn't are you really barbecuing just for 2 people? Like, how many other people perished at this deadly barbecue via lighter fluid laced coleslaw? I don't know what. They didn't even need to tell us. Like, they could have been anything.
Well, and that's the thing too, because they say it's the first barbecue after they got married, which means maybe it was like a thanks everybody for coming to our wedding.
Yeah, and you see 20 people drop dead. And where are those ghosts? Shouldn't this whole hallway be full of like ghosts of her family? Because she did it. How is she going on a trip? You killed 25 people with a lighter fluid and coleslaw, and now you're stressed and you want to meet a man, so you go on a cruise?
Coleslaw massacre.
Yeah, stay out of the kitchen, Ellen Garner.
Oh
jeez.
God. Be careful, Greg.
No kidding.
No wonder she's lawyering up.
Oh
my God. Yeah, but they
run, Greg. Run.
That's funny. That's funny that we took 2 different looks at the murder. So
I rewound it and I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah,
now I don't know. Listeners,
I don't either.
Vote on our poll.
Please.
Why was Jimmy Walker killed in this episode?
Was it by flame or was it by slaw? You know, to one or the other.
I think I agree with you though. Wouldn't you because coleslaw,
it's mayo.
I know it's naturally a little damp, but like,
well, it is damp, but it's not damp with fuel.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you smell? And the thing is, if you got a little lighter fluid in your stomach, like how much lighter fluid does it take to kill a person? Like, was the slaw floating in a gas tank? Like, well, I don't know what.
He had
how
him
much
marinating for
like
weeks.
how much does it take to kill a man or a whole family? And no wonder that's where she got money for the cruise. He didn't want her to have a man. He's trying to
Um,
haunt her. He should have been like, "You killed me." That's what he should have done. Would have been a very different episode.
the 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 gimmick with the ghost that we did talk about last week, we were trying to figure out how they were doing. They obviously don't have technology to like fade him in. So
Boo.
basically, you hear the sound, he pops up,
Mhm.
then you hear the sound, he pops out. Like they're clearly like doing the cut.
Like Genie almost.
Right, exactly. You're 100% right. It's Genie. I didn't need much, but whatever.
It, it's fine.
You could have given me something. He shouldn't have been having real food and
But I don't
and
but I
drink.
don't but I don't think that's how ghosts would work. And I'm not trying to be difficult here, but I can't imagine a ghost is just like, "I'm here." You know what I mean? And then pop, I'm gone. Like, wouldn't a
Yeah,
ghost like they would just sort of appear and then they would sort of disintegrate? I get it, but they could have helped us. They could have done so. If you could have made Captain Kirk, right, when they would like beam down, they had that
yeah.
little something. They could have done something.
Well, what technology? Let's look at some of the
Mm.
stunts and special effects. Not stunts because stunts been good this year. Special effects. We saw that elevator explode.
So the elevator explode.
We saw that computer that Frankie Avalon had explode. So
That would
it's
explode.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know that
Uh,
I don't know that we have it.
yeah, we're not in the we're not making Star Wars here.
When the Pacific Princess implodes in season 7 because they have to figure out how to get to other ports, then we'll see.
They'll
Then
do
you'll
that
all,
just so they can build a new ship for the next season and have some new.
oh, that's totally.
Oh, she's a beaut. Like it'll be one of those kind of deals.
Yeah.
Mm.
Take me a minute to mourn my girl.
The Pacific. God, stupid. Go down with the ship, sir.
Basically,
Yeah.
Jimmy Walker is haunting Ellen, not in a bad way, but he wants her to move on with her life after this unsolved murder,
Yeah. After she killed
and
him.
yeah, and find a new man. And what better place to find a man than the Love Boat? So Jimmy's going to help out, which is great. The
I
problem
just,
is
yeah.
only she can see and hear him, and it makes her look crazy.
She looks like a lunatic. Julie's looking at her. If Julie's looking at you like you're crazy, you are legit cuckoo.
So the first version of the Coreys
Mm-hmm.
comes from this as they're kind of standing out there, and Ellen says to Jimmy that I swear, or sorry, that she's kind of talking and like obviously like saying things that are incriminating
Sure.
to JJ, and what was his name? Nico the drunk,
Nico the
basically.
drunk. Yeah.
Mr. Corey
Mr.
comes by
Corey.
and says, "I swear I never saw her before," and she gets a Mrs. Corey.
It was good.
Classic.
We knew we had something special right there with the
Oh,
Coreys. I was like, they're
and
going
if
to
it
hit this
was
again.
as a oneer, that would have been
Yeah.
fine. The fact that they went
Oh,
back
yeah.
to it every time,
It was
every time.
great. Gold.
New dad, Meryl Steubing, is questioning Julie on why Doc and Isaac are boarding passengers.
Mm-hmm.
Good question. I also would wonder where Isaac's jacket is, but I guess that's only
Yeah,
a
he
bar
didn't
camping jacket.
like he looked like he was out of uniform, basically.
Yeah, he really
And I
did.
also looked at his shoulders to see if he had additional stripes. Because remember, they said
Right,
when
he's
he
gotta
saved
be
the ship, he was supposed to get a promotion.
yeah. Now you
I
get
haven't
to
seen
hold a
it yet.
football like a
Yeah, I don't
backup
know.
quarterback. The reason they're helping out is because Gopher's sister, Chubbs, is coming to celebrate her unlisted birthday.
Mhm.
Eventually, we find out it's her 18th birthday.
Well, also, he was blow drying his hair. And they said in there, Gopher's blow drying his hair because his sister's coming on board. I expected to see this well sculpted coif on his head. And it was regular old Gopher hair. So I don't know what that is about.
Um, so she is named Chubbs because she was a bit of a heavy girl growing up,
Correct.
and as you know, children don't ever change, and
Never.
uh, and so that's kind of where the nickname comes from. Well, it turns out that old Chubbs is not what she used to be.
No, she's no longer 5 feet tall all over.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about Steubing, who again just discovered that he has a daughter.
Right.
and in the course of, 30 seconds, manages to make a fat joke about a child,
Mm-hmm.
and then, then makes another basic fat joke asking them to make a second birthday cake. You have a daughter, you asshole.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a bit of a dick here. Like,
Jesus.
dude. Well, it just shows you it's completely. Well, there's no. We like to think that there's some sort of carryover or larger story at play, but this is just more proof to me that this is a complete out of sequence episode they just
Yeah.
threw in here because
And
it
it's that
doesn't make
thing
sense.
where, like, we kinda talked about it, and I will be curious. We kinda talked about it in that the fact that Vicky Steubing doesn't come back till the middle of next season,
So weird.
was this actually a plan or was it a one-off throwaway thing? So my question is, will the daughter be referenced at all in an episode until we get to the actual daughter again?
I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Unless I'd say maybe season 3, maybe Telegram or something, but I don't think they're. I don't think that they're going that far in depth with it.
Yeah.
And I bet you they wanted to see what the ratings were for the episode with the Vicky thing, and then I'm sure that the issues with Julie caused this and this. So there was a lot of stuff behind the scenes too. I bet um, with that Vicky thing, we need a sober female on the show. Essentially,
Too soon to start thinking about Julie's departure. It's
makes me
too soon.
sad already.
The Jennifer shows up, and it seems like she's met everyone previously except Julie, which made me wonder, is that Julie has a friendship with those guys off the boat, or is Julie the newest member of the crew and therefore has not opportunity to meet Chubbs yet?
Yeah, I would go with that. That she might be the latest person hired. Although I was surprised. I mean, how many years are you going to work on a cruise ship? Like, how far back? I wonder. If she met him 2 years ago, okay, I see that.
Yeah.
But if it was like, well, I knew Chubbs when she was 8, like, really? Uh-huh.
They have a very familiar relationship.
They do. It's a little weird.
Meanwhile, so basically, yeah, Doc shows no remembrance of this girl until Gopher comes down and yells Chubbs. But before he knew that, Doc was definitely like ready to go.
Oh,
But
there's no shame.
yeah,
Yeah.
but give him credit. He knew to get out of there,
Yeah.
so he stood down.
Thank God.
Meanwhile, on Fiesta Deck 131, Jamie Lee Curtis is saying what we've been talking about for 33 episodes. If this marriage doesn't survive on land, why is it going to be on any better on this boat?
Amen.
So,
Amen.
this is a level of Lockhorns that we have not had in a while. These
Mm-hmm.
guys, the parents hate each other.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis and Wayne hate each other. They're boring as hell. It's just
Wayne's terrible. Wayne is
Wayne
just terrible. Just Wayne the bore.
Wayne's a tryhard, is what he is.
Just they didn't give him anything to work with. This guy might be one of the greatest actors in the world. I don't know, but what he did here does not prove that to me.
So we don't get a lot of this at the very beginning, but we are able to piece it together from intricate plotting. So
Very.
Wayne and Linda,
Mm-hmm.
which is Jamie Lee Curtis, they are married, and before they can even get like 2 words out of their first argument, the door knocks, and it's Janet Leigh, mother of Linda, also mother of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
She
Big
is
star.
off.
Big
Yeah,
star.
yeah, and she is off to see her daughter and son-in-law off a bon voyage.
Why don't you
A
just throw
totally
ticker
normal.
tape like those other thousands of other people? Who
Right.
gets on a
Who
who
can
get
get on a boat?
well, say you could. Is that what how is I mean, and I'm not trying to pick it apart, but it's just like we've never seen this on any other episode.
Nope.
Because
Char
if
was the
you
only
let
one, and she was a
if you
legit stowaway.
right, if you let them
Yeah,
all do it,
right.
that's ridiculous. You're gonna have so many stowaways. No one's gonna leave the ship. Ugh.
Well, as Janet Leigh tries to kind of explain her motivation, and we start to get into the divorce thing, the door knocks, and the world don't move to the beat of just one drum.
That's what I'm
Here's
talking about.
Les.
Philip
Here,
M.F.
yeah,
Drummond.
here's Les, who is the father. He is the father. And he was actually invited to see them off. Apparently, the plan was it's very important that you get seen off as an adult on a cruise.
So weird.
But
Yeah, on a romantic cruise with your spouse,
right,
like in your room, like not on deck. Yeah, that's
yeah,
up close and personal.
yeah. So we get a little bit of exposition, but basically, Les and Gail were married for 20 years and they're now divorced, and that's the whole reason that they were not both invited to this awesome send off of boat travel. But
So weird.
anyway, so Jamie Lee Curtis tries to be diplomatic about it, but they're like, "We're out of here." Conrad Bain's like, "Baby, I got a date. I gotta go." You know, he's just like,
I don't
"No
have
time
time for
for
this. No.
nonsense." I'm sure it's not a big deal, but Les and Gail seem to have lost their way when they are leaving the hotel room. But I'm sure that they'll get back to where they were supposed to, and we won't
It's
see
not
them
going to be a
anymore.
problem. No,
No,
that's it
we
for
probably just
them.
won't see those guys anymore.
Goodbye.
Um, it is funny though, because it's like you would think, good job, Stubing. You'd think you'd have like a sign, right?
Exit.
Yeah.
Pretty simple sign.
We do get a new call, I guess, from Stubing today.
Yeah, that's the
All
first time.
aboard. What is it?
All
Oh, here
ashore
it is.
that's going
All ashore
ashore.
that's going ashore. So these poor people who they did not intend to stow away,
No,
but
he's got a
it's
hot
time to
date.
go. Yeah. Janet Leigh's got
Maybe.
nothing.
Yeah, he's got nothing.
Not anymore,
Sure.
he doesn't.
Mm.
So yeah, they are just kind of wandering around. They're just kind of trying to find their way. Okay, I'm sure that'll work out. I'm sure that'll
That'll
work
be
out.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll be on shore any minute.
Um, next we see Greg Elkins trying to get into his cabin. Here comes Ellen walking down the hallway around the same time.
Growl.
Ghost time.
There we go.
Mickey sees an opportunity and he says, we already have a winner of my replacement. And hit the binger. And Ellen's like, I'm not interested at all. And Greg's like, I didn't even ask you yet. And that's the end of that flirtation.
Yeah, it's yeah. I can't imagine Greg after that. He's probably like, damn, that girl's crazy. She's in the hall openly talking to herself.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer. I don't need this.
No. And it's like, okay, I'm in the hallway. That's one.
Right.
Then I'm in the dance hall. That's two.
That's
Then I
two.
have this weird breakup.
Yeah, that's three. And then the very end is even
Down the
worse.
steps.
Yeah.
So
Like, dude. Oh, yeah, she gets shoved.
Yeah. Ghost
Remember,
shoved.
remember how hard that was for Patrick Swayze in that Ghost movie when that guy, the droopy-eyed guy, was trying to teach him?
Yeah.
So
That's
he
true.
must be a great ghost if,
Pretty good for a
the late
freshman
Mickey Garner. Yeah, he's doing a great job.
I would watch Ghost 2 with Mickey Garner.
Oh, yeah, with this when
chops.
JJ inhabits Whoopi Goldberg's body, and then Demi Moore is making out with Whoopi, but she's really making up with Jimmy Walker. Ditto. JJ would never say I love you. Ditto.
Les and Gail shockingly have gotten lost, but in the middle of getting lost, Gail spots some renovation that she needs to check out. She's a big HGTV viewer.
Precocious.
Yes, and she heard that there is time. There's time enough before they jump on this boat to check out the renovations of the new cabins. I've heard they've done wonderful things.
It's not like they made an announcement like get off the ship now.
Right. Well, and the sign says, kind of stay away from here, but not really.
Warning.
Yeah.
Warning, right.
Two people in their mid to late 50s easily duck under this chain to get back there.
It was very secure. Like, then no one's going to duck under that chain. You're crazy.
And then they walk into these upgraded cabins, which I got to tell you, It kind of looked like the other cabins.
It looked
So
exactly like the other cabin, but just
you
slightly
can,
messier.
but
Sure.
you can tell they've been working on them because there's a ladder with some like
Hmm.
paint easel in the
A little bit
middle.
of paint splatter that was
Yep.
placed there 5 minutes before they said shoot. Yeah.
Yeah. The door kind of
Oh,
shuts behind them and it locks comically because
of
that's
course.
the one thing you would definitely not work on first.
Yeah, we haven't finished the room, but we finished the locks from the outside.
Right. Literally every construction you go into, the doorknobs are like the last thing,
There's a
right?
hole. They don't put a door in like not for this construction company. We're Doorknobs First Incorporated.
Doorknobs
What?
first. Running water probably last. We'll get to that. This is a whole radar cabin. The phone is unhooked as well. And so they are probably going to die here. No one is ever going to hear their screams. So,
Poor Conrad.
and then we get the horn. Like we're at a Buffalo Sabres game in the mid 90s. And it is time to go. And guess
Time to
what?
go.
They're stuck. They're on this boat. So we get a lot of yelling and door hammering. I'm stuck in here with someone I hate.
Well, no one
And
could
that,
hear him over the absent confetti scene that was going on
yeah,
outside.
but all that excitement leads to an extended stock footage, like 4 or
Yeah,
5 pieces of stock footage. We are 9 minutes into this thing.
they're
That is a
trying.
bad indication.
They are crawling on their stomachs to the 45-minute mark on this thing. Like they're like, oh no,
If
we're
you,
screwed.
I kind of had an indication we were thin already, but
Oof.
like when you do that in the first act, especially coming out of that theoretically exciting scene,
Well,
that was pretty bad.
there wasn't even much to establish in this opening act. These people are locked in. This other couple doesn't like them. You know, they don't like each other. There's a ghost thing. There's Chubbs.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty light. There's not much going on.
This episode could have been 15 minutes.
Yeah, we could have been done already. Essentially,
They should have like banked a couple Jam and Jimmy solos, maybe some Fifth
wow.
Dimension, and ran that at the back end of this.
Just have a musical episode. Just show a bunch of musical performances. Give them 30 minutes of gold.
Or just like a clip show of musical performances
Yeah,
that
yeah.
didn't happen on the show.
There you go.
The
Like
second song,
the second
whatever
song
Tennille
Charles sang.
sang that didn't make the end of the Roxy Blue song.
The
That
end of the
took
Roxy
45
Blue.
minutes.
And maybe a repeat performance of the song that dad sang to his daughter when he was dying. Maybe if we could get like an acoustic version of that would be wonderful.
Do you think they played it on like bagpipes at his funeral?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Jennifer heads down to the deck and she's trying to find Doc, and she gets hit on immediately because she's incredibly attractive and a sex pot and not a child.
And she has the eyes of a zombie. Sure.
She asks Isaac where Doc is, and he's like, maybe he's in his office, and she's like, what do I got to do? What's the girl got to do to get sick around here? And Isaac's like, aha, the perfect
Yeah.
opportunity to unveil my new drink. Isaac's eye opener.
What was the drinking age in 1978?
Maybe 18, plus you're in international waters. I had the same thought.
Okay.
I'm gonna say okay. But you're right. The fact that
It's a little shady. Yeah.
Now I'll say this. It was interesting. She held the cup in a weird way, almost like she had no idea how to hold
Because she's
alcohol.
16.
Well, but she held it like this the whole time.
She didn't know what to.
Well, one of the reasons I thought she held it like that was because she doesn't know what she's doing and she's 16. The other reason was, did you see the color of that drink?
Yeah, it didn't.
Looked like if you had knocked slush off the underwell of your car.
It was not.
Yeah, it was not a great job, Isaac.
It wasn't an electric color. Like, how about we just stick to Planter Punch and Pina Coladas? Like, keep it real simple.
Yeah. No ingredients given, which is very disappointing. I really wanted to make
Well,
an
what color?
Isaac's
Like,
eye opener
what
tonight.
ingredients would you to make that? It just looked like
Cooler,
antifreeze sludge.
Windex. Yeah, it's like
Awful. Midori.
ugh.
You know, all the. I wanted ingredients as well.
Steubing shows up And so does Gopher. And Gopher kind of reintroduces Steubing to Jennifer. I just want to point out again that just last week,
Yeah.
Merrill was introduced to his daughter, and we are pretty confident that he knows this. And he manages to ask this 18-year-old girl, whatever happened to the little girl with the big appetite. So, let's not bring up those past issues probably.
Just say it. Hey,
Yeah.
used to be super fat. Like what the hell happened? That's almost better than going, you used to have a big appetite. Like don't try to poorly hide what you're trying to say. Oh, did you have some sort of medical procedure to lose 300 pounds? Like, just say it. Oh, you used to have a big appetite. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's.
Right.
Can you imagine saying that to somebody? I
No.
can't imagine ever saying anything else, but I can imagine just going, I know how to clean this up. Hey, I heard you used to have a big appetite.
And then she leaves
Weird,
to go
man.
have lunch or do something.
Or to go cry. Yeah.
Right. Seriously, to go eat a ding dong.
Eating and
So
make herself throw up. Sure.
Steubing then, because Gopher's like, ugh, these creeps on the boat.
Oh,
And
Denny Terrio. Yeah.
Steubing's like, she's a real stunner. Like, you don't say that about my sister, old man boss of
Yeah.
mine.
I'm trying to
And then
pimp out my 18-year-old who's really
right,
16-year-old. So yeah,
right.
it's weird, man.
And then he's like, goodbye, Chubbs. Hello, Farah. Like, what?
Once again,
Arrest this man. Arrest this
Captain,
man.
man, act like an authority figure. Like you're just so
And
clueless.
it's not even the worst thing he does. There's a
No.
worse scene later.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot worse.
All right.
He doesn't disappoint. I'll tell you what.
Ugh. I don't
Jesus.
know why I thought that was like a big enough episode last week that they would try to at least not do this, but they basically John Riggered him again. So,
But to your point we talked about before, that's why another reason why I think this one's sort of just completely out of sequence.
yeah,
Because I feel like this comes from that batch of episodes where they didn't know who or what they wanted Steubing to be.
yeah, yeah.
And I firmly believe that this is a first season episode based on Julie's the length of her hair and how they portray the captain. But
And the actual like film quality seems to be worse.
exactly, yeah, it wasn't. But the portals look good, so I don't know. I'm
Who
kind of torn.
knows? Who knows? We are poolside. JJ knows what's up. He shows up on an empty deck chair next to Ellen to kind of get the skinny. He's been doing some research, it sounds like. Finds out that Greg has got some money and he's an attorney. Which, I don't know, do you think he like has a ghost, like some sort of ghost access? Or
Like
do you think he's like literally like rifling through Greg's briefcase in the hotel?
I mean, he could just be hanging out in the guy's room,
That is
just
true. He does talk about
overhearing
being a
him.
lawyer a lot.
I wonder if ghosts can swim. Like, could you get in the
I mean,
pool?
the fact that
I don't
he
know.
was able to drink liquid makes me
Yeah,
think he can swim. Yeah,
that's what I think. But the whole liquid thing was just uh,
that was padding.
it was like a
That was more
4-minute scene
padding.
too. Like, what are we
Yeah.
doing, man?
I was like, hold on, I got to do a lot of bits here.
Oh, got to slowly drink the other drink now. Sure.
Alan informs Mickey that he's wasting his time, which Steubing overhears. And Alan's like, no, sorry. I was like, I'm having a great time. And he's like, okay. And he salutes her.
Yeah, 2-finger salute.
Why?
That's why I couldn't wear the captain's hat this week. Like,
Why?
when in doubt, when he doesn't know what to do, he just hits him with the old Polish Army salute.
And what are you doing? Like, why are you just walking around?
He's got nothing to do. He's got nothing to do.
They
Again,
hand out stuff. Next week, I'm going to see him with like one of those ballpark racks of like popcorn or something. He should be like Red Hot.
Or he should give out change, like have a change belt on with a ching ching ching. But again, not to beat a dead horse, I could sit here and just talk smack about Steubing all day long. But honestly, we're in season 2, not quite halfway season 2, but we're getting there.
a third of the way through
No
season
bridge
2.
shots still.
A lot of bridge references.
A lot of bridge. I have to get to the bridge. The
Yeah.
bridge is where he gets his ice cream from. The bridge is the name of the ice cream parlor. I don't know. But it's just, you still don't see it. He lives the life of a Walmart greeter on a boat. If Walmart was on a boat, it's just, they just cut this guy down. Uh,
It
it's
is
just
just funny.
exhausting.
To your point, the episodes are definitely not in order because it was just
Mm-mm.
like that guy was not going just for a stubby last week, but going for the Emmy. And this
And then
week's
this week, he's
yeah,
like,
just a stupid
what's the opposite? I'm going for the anti-Emmy. I don't know what that
anti-Emmy,
is.
the Razzie.
The Yemmy? I don't know what it is. Yeah. Awful portrayal.
JJ's like, when are we going to talk about all this stuff? And Ellen's like, back in the cabin because I look like a crazy person.
Maybe he was just
If it
looking for a
walks by,
confession, you know? Like, I just want you to tell me that you killed me with the just tell me. That's why I'm doing.
anyway, guess who walks by? But the Coreys again.
I love him.
This is where Mrs. Corey threatens to break Mr. Corey's leg. So,
She looked like she meant it too. Like, I would
yeah, I'm
not
not even
mess
sure
with
these people
Mrs.
were
Corey.
acting. This was just
She was great.
tremendous.
The actress BB Drake was her name. She was amazing.
Just
Yeah, I don't know who she is.
speaking of misunderstandings, Greg comes over, and I think he catches like the last part of something, and he's like, "Oh boy, oh boy."
Yeah.
And Isaac just hands him booze, and he's like, "Can't get any worse." Just like
This guy, he just wants to be on vacation. Like, he doesn't want to deal with any of this.
we
There's no
talk a
way he
lot
would.
about
Yeah.
the advent of sunglasses, but Greg is looking sharp in what I assume
Yeah.
are his sunglasses. It was hard to tell if they were those like dark tinted regular glasses or actual sunglasses,
He
but
looks sharp. He looked
he
like a
did look
mod
sharp. He
squad
sounds
kind of guy.
sharp. This guy sounds like $1,000,000.
Yeah. Look at his hair.
Oh,
Hair looks good. He's just well put together.
I have an interesting casting switch that I'd like to run by you a little bit later.
Okay.
Oh, and I also have an interesting get rid of the entire storyline switch right here. Wayne is trying to make sexy moves
Ugh.
from the pool. Jamie Lee Curtis is not having it.
She's like, we're in the pool.
Yeah. She's like, just no. Get off the boat, you two.
Wayne.
This is terrible. Wayne's trying really hard.
There was the only thing they used him for was to get Conrad Bain and Janet Leigh.
Exposition.
Right. So it's
Or
not.
like, have them matched up. Yeah, where they were different.
It's weird.
Yeah, Linda's over this already. And she mentions divorce. Wayne brings up her parents as an example of needing to fight more, I guess.
His logic was, he was grasping at something. I wasn't following his train of thought on his, whatever the argument he was trying to make. He was just upset because he wanted to, and she was like, nah.
Yeah, we've done enough of these to kind of realize that if you get a "I don't care" note this early, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I didn't care. I didn't care about this part at all.
No. If we can't even begin to be invested at this point,
Yeah,
we're just not.
No.
It's just not going to happen. Screw you, Wayne.
Speaking of the parents, Les and Gail are sitting on the floor, and their low-level bickering kind of escalates to full-scale hatred. Now, I will say this was the best part of this storyline, is because Conrad Bain kind of offhandedly says, "Oh, and you hated me," and she's like, "Oh no, hate's a strong word." And they go back and forth,
Yeah.
and they go all the way around back to hate. So here are all the things they said about each other. They said hate, mutual disappointment,
Sure.
dissatisfaction, discontent,
Discontent's a good one.
indignation,
Ooh.
exasperation,
Oh, it's building now.
anger,
Yep.
rage,
Rage.
loathing, hate. And then they go back to the door.
There you go.
And there's your act break. Weird way to go to the commercial.
Did they jostle the door pre-commercial, or they didn't really give the payoff on the door prior to the commercial?
Where it was locked or the
Yeah,
first?
yeah, where they couldn't. Well, was it
No, that was
locked?
initially when she yanks. That's the first time they walk in.
Okay.
That locked right behind them. Although she indicates at the end, spoiler when they get out,
That she
that
already
she's known
opened
about
it.
it for 3 days, and they, so
I, since you said 3 days, I just want to bring up a quick point about this couple. You will get to the food that they're going to divvy up, right? I just want to make a
yeah,
point. A person can survive for a total of 3 days without water. That's it. I want to lay that groundwork down because how long is the cruise?
3 days.
They'd have been
This one was three.
corpses. They would have been corpses
Yeah.
unless there's some sort of like toilet water or some kind of water running.
Well, do you
They
think
didn't
the
show
water
them.
is running? I mean, I guess I don't know. You put the doorknobs in.
Well,
I
no,
don't
you go
know.
doorknob first, you go water second, I think. I don't know.
Line
But
left.
like there let's eat salty peanuts with
Right.
no water for
You got some
3 for
dry fish back
yeah,
there too. It's
for
like,
72 hours because they got in that room right when it left.
you got any peanut butter I can munch on?
Any dry saltines, extra salty saltines, not a drip of water. Just saying.
Act 2, Gopher goes into Doc's cabin. He's like, Doc, I got a problem. The wolves on this ship are going after my sister. Can you help out? Once again, Doc is thrust into the chaperone role. So keep an eye on these cruise ship
Well, we
Casanovas.
know how that can go.
Yep.
Sure.
Oh, what if he showed back up?
That would be
That would be great.
yeah, she'd be all right with him given a secret smooch.
Oh, that'd be great.
I bet you they wouldn't use her as bait like they did Julie. just just a guess.
Doc agrees. All is well. We are at dinner, and JJ is up to some ghost tricks. He changes the number of Greg's table assignment on Julie's clipboard
Look at this
from an
guy.
11 to a 17, and that's how those two end up at dinner together.
There we go.
That was some practical magic right there.
Well, that's
That's good job.
if you're doing it for love, it is magic.
Greg's like, I'm a good listener. I've had a lot of practice because I'm a lawyer, which is how we start to get into the lawyer references. There's a lot of law
Lawyer
terms.
happened a
Yeah, it's
lot.
a
Like,
lot.
what does it matter?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, again, I think maybe it's because she's going to need a lawyer when somebody realizes that she killed Mickey.
Yeah. He's like, as a ghost, can I testify? No, you can't test.
No,
So
you
I can
can't hear.
change dinner reservations. I can drink a drink. I can push people, but I can't testify. Right. Okay.
You think this is actually just a revenge cruise?
He's just like waiting for a fogged up mirror so he can explain to Greg what's going. Like, run, Greg. Greg, I'm trying to hire you. Forget about this woman. I want to hire you.
It's funny. Ellen starts taking shots at Mickey, how he never shuts up. He would have been a good lawyer because he talks so much. And it was like, okay, you're just nuts.
Yeah, she's crazy. She's crazy.
Meanwhile, Wayne and Linda are having another miserable time.
Most boring couple in the world here.
Wayne brings up that they had Cornish game hen and it was delicious. Have you ever had such good Cornish game hen? Was this episode brought to you by Cornish game hen?
I don't know. I say that all the time. Have you tried the Cornish game hen? Jeez.
Turns out that's the most romantic meal in the world because that's what they also had the night that Wayne proposed.
Oh. Yeah.
And Wayne kind of goes on to a bit of a rant how they tried to double charge him for the drinks and the service was crap. And Jamie Lee Curtis is like, is that all you remember? Is that it? And that's it.
Maybe the ring was inside of the tiny chicken. Maybe that's why it was a big deal. I don't know.
Tiny ring, then.
Tiny ring.
She is just. Listen, Wayne
She's over
sucks.
it, man. Wayne sucks.
And I guarantee you, Wayne booked this cruise in secret, like one of those things, because he has worse ideas to save their marriage later.
Oh,
that we'll
yeah.
get to.
Well, anything's a better idea. Anything's better than tiny poultry. It just Just doesn't make sense.
Isn't this the best? But
Hmm.
that was the scene. That scene and the one in bed are the scenes that felt to me like, hey, Jamie Lee Curtis was just in this hit movie. We should get as much of her in as we can. What do we got?
Absolutely.
And it was like, we got that crap that didn't make the real.
Well, yeah, we don't need a captain's table.
Yeah,
We need a pool and we need a room. That's it.
we had to take 6 more minutes of crane shots of, of boat
Well,
liners. So,
realistically, how long would it take them, those two, to film all their scenes? Less than a day, easily. There's
oh,
nothing
mm-mm,
there.
mm-mm.
Not a lot of lines. It's pretty
The
simple.
costume changes would have taken the longest. Greg
Ugh,
had or Wayne had to get out of the pool.
stupid Wayne.
Dancing Stubing. Meryl is doing the tango
Yeah,
with
cutting a rug.
16/18-year-old Jennifer.
Yeah, probably not the dance. Hey, why don't you do the lambada with her? You know, let's make it even more uncomfortable.
Where I come from, I'm calling this he's flirting with this girl,
Yes.
which is wrong because at best it's an 18-year-old. It's the sister of someone who works for you.
Mm,
You have struck out every time but once on this boat.
that's what it is. He's just like he's looking for like a slump buster, but just in the worst way possible. I got to get out of this rut. Well, I'm not normally attracted to 18-year-old girls, but blah blah blah.
After the
He sucks.
dance,
He has no
well, it's like
integrity.
when speaking of old Brian and his daughter,
Mm,
if you remember in that episode when they thought they were a couple,
yeah,
Steuben's like, I could see myself with a girl that age.
it's
But she was
creepy.
like 35.
Yeah,
Steuben?
completely different. But I could even go, nay, 18 years younger. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
He's creepy, dude.
And then the worst part, he's like, after they finish up, he's impressed that a girl her age knows the tango. And then he's like, they used to call that the dance of love. No, no, no,
No, how
no,
would she
no,
know
no.
that? She's 18.
Yeah.
You,
Do you know what they call this? It's pepper spray.
yeah,
You
it's
creep.
just, it's called inappropriate.
And so, in a sentence that has not been said in at least 40 years, thank God Danny Terrio shows up.
Whoo, dancing Danny. Thank you, sir.
And he cuts in. But first, I'd like to offer a correction. On a previous episode,
Hmm.
you had referenced Adrian Zemed, and you thought
I'm
he was the host
so
of Dance
glad you brought
Fever.
this up.
And I corrected you and said no.
Yeah.
But, well, I meant Danny Terrio.
Before the lawsuit?
I said Danny Trejo. That is a much different
Oh,
show.
Machete.
Now, I would watch Dance Fever with Danny Trejo, but
Absolutely.
as I was like, that's Danny Terrio. Shit, I called him Danny Trejo. Like,
That's
so.
funny. So, interesting thing here about that whole Dance Fever. So, Denny Terrio was the original host, I think, for the first 3 years of the show. And Dance Fever was sort of like Dancing with the Stars without the stars. So, the stars would be there to judge different people dancing.
Right.
Right. Denny Terrio, and this was a Merv Griffin production.
Give it a Merv.
Well,
Ooh.
Denny Terrio had a certain relationship with Merv Griffin, where Denny Terrio wanted to end that relationship, but keep his job on Dance Fever.
How'd that
And
go?
Merv's like, He was like, what's this? I'm watching TJ Hooker. Get this kid. Who's this Adrian Zmed kid? Replaced him. The
Who's this
lawsuit.
guy who is not dance at all?
Yeah, who's this guy that doesn't
TJ
dance? Who's hey, Bill Shatner, who played your partner in TJ Hooker? So
Heather
they gave it,
Locklear? No.
right?
Ew,
So
no.
apparently that lawsuit was settled out of court. And then he sued the Hasbro toy company because one of their action figures had a distinct likeness to him. And they settled that out of court.
Wait,
Then not
action
much was
figure for
seen.
what? Just generic action figure?
Some kind of play set, and one of the guys was like dancing, blah blah
Oh,
blah,
okay. So
and
there
he
was
was
at
like,
least some
"Sue."
plausible. It wasn't like, oh man, that looks like Luke Skywalker or
Yeah,
something.
No,
Okay.
that's Rick. It's Rick Skywalker. It's all. So
Dan-
yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, Adrian Zmed took over, but yeah, Denny Terrio was quite the dancer back in the day.
when he cuts in on Steubing, this is basically just a Dance Fever demo reel. He's
Yeah,
doing
that's it.
very elaborate dances for what this is,
He's
and
spinning. He's doing all
yeah,
kinds of ridiculous
and
stuff.
I don't know that I knew it was Danny Terrio when he first cut in, but when he started doing that, and I was
Oh,
like,
then
"Oh,
you
they're
know.
highlighting this. This is
There he
somebody."
is.
And then yeah, it was
He might as well be wearing a Dance Fever T-shirt
yeah.
in this
This
thing.
was basically like Florence Henderson singing at Christmas. This is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this is what I do, but also it's padding. There's like 3 different shots of him dancing with no dialogue. At one point, Jennifer tries to keep up, and she's just like,
He's just like no one outdances Denny Terrio. He
yep.
didn't. He danced more than he talked in this episode. So I think that tells you all you really need to know about Denny Terrio.
Gopher sees this because everybody would see this. This is crazy.
Sure,
This man is like doing duck walks and stuff.
it's
Like,
crazy what he's doing. Yeah,
and he's like, Doc, get over there. You said you would help. So Doc cuts in. Um, sadly, it does not end in a Olympic breaking style dance
oh,
off.
one
That
could
would have been
only hope.
great if they would have thrown
Oh,
down.
allonge.
We'll see. We'll see Danny Terry on the way out, but that's pretty much it for
That's it for
for old
Denny.
Floyd.
Dancing Floyd.
Also on the dance floor are Greg and Ellen. They're cutting a bit of a rug.
Yeah,
Greg's got
Greg's a
Greg's
great
got some
dancer.
moves.
He's got some moves.
He's got some moves. Um, Jimmy Walker shows up, and Ellen's kind of talking to him, which is weird because that's got to be really weird, right? Like
Well, how could
he's
she hear him on a dance floor
like,
with all that music going? Like what? It's
but
odd.
yeah. So they're having a bit of a chat during this, and um, asks if he remembers that night in Chicago, and you know what that means.
Oh no.
Here come the Corys again.
Here we go.
This Mrs. Corey's like, Chicago. So great.
Perfect timing.
It's just
Perfect
like,
timing.
and again, this was our guys,
Yeah.
Aaron Jolson.
Mhm.
And for whatever problems these stories had or whatever, it's like, that's like, you know what? Are we using this too much? No, we're not. We're
Nope.
using it the perfect amount. It was just outstanding.
It's great how these people are in like the sort of periphery, but every time one of these lines is delivered,
It like
it somehow hits them. It's
run
just
across the boat.
yeah, it's fantastic. And they were great. I love the little duos like the painters, but I really enjoyed Mr. and Mrs. Corey. I thought they
Yep,
were great.
absolutely. JJ is smart. He's like, yo, stop talking to me. Like, talk to this guy.
Yeah, stop
I'm
talking. Just
dead.
listen.
You killed me in a
You killed me with a
terrifying
lighter
barbecue
fluid and
accident.
coleslaw. Jeez.
Speaking of talking, Doc and Jennifer can't hear each other because of all the loud, funky music from episode 2 that they piped back into this.
The funkiest.
Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. So they decide to go out on the deck where I'm sure nothing will happen.
No, nothing's going to happen out there. Nothing ever happens. Nobody tries to jump overboard. Nobody almost gets killed with a gun. Nobody can't count to 6. You know,
6.
nothing's happening out there.
Were they on the deck for that? So,
Oh, yeah. He was on some, I think he was by the pool, but yeah, outside.
so when they're trying to overhear each other, they can't hear. So they're trying to arrange
No.
to go to the deck. And Jennifer's like, let's go to the deck. And Doc's like, go out and neck. And Jennifer's like, oh, yeah, great idea.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Too many cuts now between all these
Too
things.
many
Like,
cuts. There's
very
too much
annoying.
going on. Yeah.
Back in the mine shaft, I mean, the renovated cabin, Gail remembers that she has the bag of peanuts that you brought up. Comrade Bain's like, yo, we may die here. We have to ration. Let me count out these peanuts. There's 27 peanuts. So they're going to eat 3 peanuts a day.
Per meal.
3 peanuts a meal.
3 per meal.
But, so it's 9 peanuts a day between the two of them? So it's
Yeah.
4.5 peanuts for each of them.
Right.
Okay.
Well, no, 3 per meal, so 9 per day. Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not 27
Yeah,
peanuts. Right?
it's not. I'd eaten all of them right there on the spot. I'd have been like, "What? No, mouthful of peanuts. What?"
I would have stomped on him. Why does Jimmy Carter get a stray?
I
Is that
don't know
just because
what
he's a
that was.
peanut farmer?
I
Is that
guess
what it
I
is? Yeah.
like we got a great one.
Yeah, we wrote the whole episode around this Jimmy Carter bit.
This peanut farmer. My peanut farm line is finally going to pay off.
You've
Odd.
been pitching this since season 1. Get out of here, Jolson.
Well, what an older woman thing to have in your purse is a bag of peanuts.
It's almost like a friend of ours used to date somebody, and we were all out at a diner in the after hours. And the next morning, she sent an email to us, and she said, "I can tell how crazy a night it was by the amount of potato chip bags I have in my purse." Because the diner just gives you them.
Oh man, that's funny. That's funny.
So maybe
funny.
Gail had been out the night before.
Maybe. Jeez.
Somehow this peanut bit leads to the first trip down memory lane. We'll have a few. And they talk about their first apartment, which I guess I understand. We've all had those apartments that seem like they're renovated cabins. And their first wedding anniversary and the sex that happened that night.
How are they? You're in a stressful situation, right? You're undernourished. You have no water. To me, that's not like fertile ground to like relive the good old days. That's more like sitting there and going, shit, like how are we going to live? We have 9 peanuts a day. Like, what are we doing here? This is the
You're
dumbest thing in
telling
the world.
me, I guess it's okay. So
Are you happy? Or remember
what did
when? I'd be like,
what
shut
did they,
up. We're
what did they
dying.
build that door out of, right? That's like a hotel door. You're not breaking that door down, I assume.
Balsa. Yeah, something. Yeah, balsa. Everything's made of like model airplane wood.
So they could have just punched through.
Right, punch right through.
Like
They didn't even
right.
try. It'd be funny if it was just a pull door instead of a push door. Like,
It's that.
and Janet Lee's struggling for air because she has no energy.
So
Very different episode.
So I think you can leave the first one where he's trying to get out the door and he doesn't want to embarrass himself. So
Yeah. He just nope. Pride is more important than living, apparently.
We make it out to the deck, and Doc asks Jennifer how college is going, and he's going to find out. Jennifer puts the full court press on Doc, and Bricker resists as long as he possibly can. And thank God Gopher shows up. But
thank God.
Yeah, she is like, what do you major in? The stars? It's just like, I don't know that this would have been better with a better actress, but I wouldn't have minded trying.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, well, plus she was 16, so I don't think she really understood
Melissa
what
Gilbert
she was supposed to.
13.
Oof, that makes it even worse. Yeah. No, I'm with you.
She was a child. That doesn't, yeah.
Well, they're trying to pull those, Little House on the Prairie people over to watch The Love Boat. You tell me that blind Ingalls girl is going to be on there? Shoot, I'll watch that. That's
Little
what
House
it
on the
is.
Prairie, interesting note, was the highest rated show on NBC.
Really?
It was like all the way down at like 14th or something. Like NBC was not good at this time.
That's interesting. The ABC was just the bee's knees back then,
Just
right?
a monster, absolute monster. Oh great, we're back in bed with Wayne and Linda.
Same set, sure.
Very, very close camera shot here. We did not have a full bed, is my guess.
So. No, we can't show a lot of this room.
No, Wayne's making moves and he's striking out. Wayne, bro, read the room, dude. Like, why do you think this is gonna work? Like,
take a nap, dude. Just go swimming again.
So this is where Wayne throws out his great idea. Maybe things would be different if we had a baby.
Because that's always, that's a healthy, yeah.
Right. Linda is rightfully indignant about this.
She's like,
not only because it's a terrible idea for a baby, but she's like, no, because like here are all the things that I would have to do. Very bitter.
Yeah, very bitter. Wayne's clueless.
Linda just wants to finish her book, Executive Trash. That's the name of the book.
I'm glad you read the title of that book.
I
I wish we could get
screenshotted
a
it. Make sure I could
synopsis of
read it
that.
correctly.
I wonder if it's a real book.
Based on the wonderful font on the cover, I'm going to guess
Oh
no.
yeah.
No.
What is that? What is that? Is that Calibri? What is that? What is that? God, is that New Times Roman? What is that?
What is that? Hostage? What is that?
Fonts.
He's like, she's like, no, no, no. I just want to read my book. If you don't mind, I'd like to finish reading this book. Well, that might not be the only thing that you're finishing. All right, Wayne, great singer. Does that make you
That's
feel
good,
better,
Wayne.
bud? She wants
I
a divorce, dude.
Yeah, she wants a divorce so bad that she brought a fake book on the boat with blank pages.
She
I want to
made
read my book, Wayne.
she
Dumbass
made
Wayne.
this book at home.
Yeah, it's macrame. Stupid Wayne.
All right. Well, back in the locked in cabin with
There
Linda's
we go.
parents, and they are getting hot and bothered over another book. See how we're doing the
Yeah. Oh, because it's
yeah. This
Does
book
that
that
mean
Gail
Wayne and Linda are also eating 3 peanuts per, like, are they doing the
they're
same thing?
they're lousy with peanuts.
Are they
They have
super
so many
dehydrated as well?
peanuts. They found the monkey's stash of
Oh,
peanuts.
right?
They just
Why is
opened
this closet full of rando snacks? Just what's going on?
the
Mm,
book. Gail in her purse has probably some Halls, 27 peanuts, and a
mhm.
copy of Lord Derek's Wench. So
Another obvious fake book.
Gail mentions that she, Comrade Bain used to love her smut
Mhm.
novels. When's the last time that you curled up on the couch with your wife and she read you a smut novel?
2 days ago. 2 days ago. Yeah, I don't know what that's about, man. That is
I guess before internet, there was just a lot of time for things like.
yeah, it said yeah, it's just an odd.
Philip Drummond is drunk on peanuts because he starts groping his ex-wife when she starts
It's,
reading this book.
how much
Like,
sodium does it take to get Philip Drummond all worked
good.
up?
Like, do
Under
you
those
really?
circumstances, you wouldn't have the energy.
Did
You're
you
having
really have
3
a?
peanuts per meal and no water. Where are you getting this energy from, Philip Drummond?
Did you really have a hot date, Philip Drummond, or
No.
were you going to a hooker?
I feel like he was telling a big old fat Canadian lie is what I
Whopper,
think he was doing. Oh,
loony.
Whopper. Sorry.
He gets shut down.
Yeah.
And Gail's like, "Sorry, I couldn't be a sex pot when I was raising your children." And she
Huh.
goes on a very justified rant about how, he kind of just handed off the kids and expected her to be, a bear in the boardroom and a bull in the bedroom or whatever. So, but he doesn't, he's like, "Nope, sorry." And he's like,
Sorry.
"Tell it to Lord Byron, Lord Derek." And that's how we go to commercial. That storyline got, I think, all the commercial acts until the last one, which is
Yeah.
a weird choice. Act 3. Julie's in
Thank
her very small cabin. Very small.
Yeah. Why not hang up laundry in the tiniest cabin in the world?
What happened, Julie? What did you do? What did you do to
Was
Stubing that your
is
room got moved?
there's one dryer?
Are they all broken?
I mean, do they not wash or dry things on that ship? Like towels? There's no laundry service? You have one dryer. Well, the
Do you think
dryer's
it's like a
out.
crew
What?
dryer? Julie refuses to put the quarter in.
I mean, how many dry shouldn't you have a bunch of I mean, how many dryers do you need for 400 people,
600.
right? That's and when I'm gonna run
You
for president, I'll be like, and 2 dryers for every person.
know what
Just
the
seem
answer
like
is?
a weird.
You need at
Mm,
least 2.
yeah,
So there should be a backup.
it's just weird. Okay.
Anyway, this is all just scenery so Doc can come in and tell her about the Jennifer plot and ask what she should do. Julie's kind of like, I'm sure she just sees you as a father figure. And he's like, I think she sees me as a lover. So
Yeah, but didn't Julie do the same thing to Doc? Remember that one episode where he was going to sleep in the bathtub and all that stuff, and she was like, "How come you never pick me?" Isn't it kind of the same?
yeah,
It's not the
well,
age thing, but it's a similar.
it's a similar off limits thing. Yeah.
Yeah, which
Well,
is
that
why,
would
like, why would
definitely be
Doc go to Julie with that, knowing
because I
that
think
happened
outside of
before?
that one episode, I think that made
Mm,
sense. That one episode was weird. A
or they
very good
just
episode, but they
filmed
really.
this one before that one or something.
Do
Something's who knows.
you think they filmed this in like 1967?
That's what it was pre-pilot.
um. Anyway,
Yeah,
once again, I actually like this in that I do like the crew scenes that aren't stupid, where they
I
like
agree.
talk to each other like normal people. I feel like it
Yeah,
just
they have a
fleshes
rapport.
things out a little bit, you know.
I
So
agree.
the next morning, Les and Gail wake up and they're having another heart to heart about marriage and parenting, and they're not talking about getting a locksmith, which seems like the thing that I would be focusing on the most. But
Yeah, like, how do we get out?
right, yeah. You know what? I'm pretty sure we got divorced for a reason.
I like that they go to bed at bedtime and then they wake up in morning time, like they
You gotta
normally
stay
would, as if they were on
yeah,
vacation.
you gotta stay on routine. Like to me, nighttime would be the time I'd be banging on the door the loudest
Right.
because theoretically it'd be quiet.
Well,
Nobody's hearing you over that funky clarinet.
yeah, let's all go to sleep and be really quiet now in the quietest hours on the ship. I'd be banging something in that room.
Oh, I'd get
Hey-oh.
those pipes.
Banging on the pipes. There's got to be tools or something. Make some noise.
That's a good point. There
Set a
absolutely are
fire.
tools.
Do something.
That's a good point too.
Get a
There's
fire alarm. Something. Do something.
Lord Byron. Fuck, Lord
Lord
Derry got him
Byron.
out
Look at
there.
this.
I keep him on the plumber poet.
This is great.
um, nice gesture by Les. Offers her the final peanut. They kind of split the last peanut, and that apparently has solved all their problems because here comes the violin swelling, but nothing happened yet.
Nothing happened yet.
Gopher thanks Doc for all his chaperoning, but needs one more favor. Could you please take Jennifer to lunch? He can't do it. Doc's like, sure. Meanwhile, in the pool, Greg and Ellen are frolicking. Greg gets an extended pool shot. Good for Greg.
He does. He does. Good for you, Greg.
Turns out that Ellen has taken that successful dissertation that she completed by the pool and become a kindergarten teacher.
Because
Congratulations.
that's a big thing in that kindergarten world, right? Dissertations.
Yeah.
She probably had to do it in
On,
crayon
on
just to
Black
like.
History, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it was. Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
So, this is where we get a lot of Greg as a lawyer
They're
stuff.
dumping it in.
Like
Yeah, they're
just a lot.
really
Like
like we
somebody
heard it.
Googled somebody in 1978 Googled attorney
Like
and pulled out some words.
or Googled good jobs. Let's give him this, and then he just went on and on and on and on.
Enter JJ. He's kind
Here
of
we
chilling
go.
over on the deck chairs, just seeing the smooth moves of Greg. He calls him a combination of F. Lee Bailey and Richard Pryor.
Ugh.
Then they go to lunch, and
It,
JJ
it,
does the first of what is 2 or 3 like narrative recaps, like like we're
in
going to
case
break.
you missed it, what? You're the narrator? I thought you were a ghost.
Previously on this scene.
What are you doing? Jeez.
Oh God.
Odd appearance, Mr.
Yeah,
Walker. Very odd.
we are just in a bullet point mess right now. It's just
They're
a
like,
lot
they're
of
like, hey, we got 40 minutes to fill. Screw it. Line up. There's nothing makes sense. The dumbest. These are all the worst storylines of a good episode, and they
care
put them
about
all together, and they're
I
like,
don't
it's
care
just
about
they don't
any
care.
of
It's
it.
just
So
they're in a
bad.
room. They might get out. They might not. Wayne and Linda, who cares? Like it's just nobody cares. My biggest concern this whole thing was like, do they have the ghost drinking, and does that mean he can walk through walls or not? And that's it. That was were my takeaways.
The ghost should have saved Les and Gail. He could have walked through the wall there.
Oh, also, did ghosts change their clothes? That was the
How
other
would
thing
she
I
be
had.
back? That's a good point. Shouldn't I thought ghosts
You
shouldn't
were
he be
stuck in the
in
clothes you died in.
he should
It smells like coleslaw and lighter fluid. Poor late Mickey Garner, just with a very specific bad scent. It's a little dairy, it's a little lighter fluid. R.I.P. Mm.
Doc knocks. Doc knocks on Jennifer's cabin door. She says, "Come on in," but she's in various stages of undress.
Oh boy.
And the moves are made immediately. She is hot to trot for Doc. And just at the moment where she kind of starts going to his face, Gopher walks in and
Thank God.
this is some of the best Bricker that we never get that often, but when we do, it's
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gopher
What
throws
ethical bricker?
Gopher throws Jennifer into the bathroom, like, get out of here. And he's going to give him a knuckle sandwich so much. And Doc twice, very understated, very solemnly, it's like, I guess there's no chance in explaining. And he says it twice and he walks off. And it is just, it's the gravitas
Mm-hmm.
that Steubing doesn't have. And it really does.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't save anything, but it's like, you know
No,
what
but
I
he's got
actually care
that
about?
aura of like,
If
yeah.
I care about anything on this show, like from
Mhm.
week to week at this point, it's the 4 crew members
Yeah.
and their interactions. And
Sure.
so that was actually like he was hurt. He knew what was going to happen. He
Mhm.
tried to stop it. And he
And he
knows he can't, so he
did.
doesn't try.
Nothing happened.
Right.
It's not like she planted one on him and he walked.
No,
Nothing
exactly. Yeah.
happened.
No.
So yeah, I agree because it's almost like Doc's got that code in a way,
Sure.
like
Absolutely.
a leader would have, like Steubing should have,
Yes. Yeah.
but he doesn't
And
have that.
a
Yeah.
tone that is not condescending or pompous or I'm better than you. And in a way, he's almost like, we will figure this out. There's no sense in explaining it now. I'm not going to try. You think Steubing would have done that? He would have been like,
No. Well, let me ask you at this point of the series, regardless of the fact, like if these are in order or however this weird magical episode happened, in your opinion, who's the better actor out of
oh,
those two?
Bernie Capel by a
Right?
lot.
I
By a
thought
lot.
so too.
Because honestly, we hated it, but he was even good. I mean, he got us to hate him, right? In that
Yeah.
episode with the nurse.
Which we didn't want to, but
No,
it was
but we had
bad.
to. But
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, they don't even break out the Dean Martin stuff that much, but that's
Mm-mm.
obviously in there.
Yeah.
Um, no, I don't think it's close. I do think Gavin McLeod is a good actor,
Sure.
but they're
Is he
not
just
giving him the stuff.
handcuffed?
They're not giving him the stuff he's good at.
No. No.
Like we talked about it on the Halloween episode, right? That little bit with Vincent Price where he's exasperated and he slams the door and walks
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Like he's great at that stuff.
Yeah, he is. He is.
He's not great at this like buffoonery /
Mm-mm.
pompous cosplay captain stuff.
Yeah, the sort of cocky Commandant Lassard thing just doesn't.
Yeah.
It's a weird combination of things. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's more than just the actor itself. I agree. They're not.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's lacking for the captain. At week by week by week, he's got highs, he's got lows, but really
Yeah.
there've been more lows than highs. It just doesn't. Whereas Doc, I've grown to enjoy him a lot as a character,
And
and
really, I would say the 3 male crew members that aren't Steubing at this point, pretty consistent, right? Like
yeah, yeah,
we'll have
yeah.
one-offs, but they'll make sense at
We
least
know
or
what to
whatever.
expect out of Isaac and Doc,
And
and
go.
even now with Doc, Doc has ethics, which
Yeah.
is nice.
Right. And Gopher, obviously,
Mhm.
and then Julie, I still maintain a lot of that is because she's the only female, but like they're a little more consistent with her or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not
to a point.
making her sound like a lunatic anymore, like she was for a while.
I mean, honestly, my main problem with the Julie stuff is she's not in it as much.
No, she's not. Well, remember, what do we say? She's the conscious of the ship, but now
Yeah,
she's not
yeah,
around enough
no.
to be that role.
And I almost feel like they're trying to make Steubing that at some level, and it's a poor choice.
No, I agree.
Let's see. So back in the renovated cabin, we are buttoning up a dress shirt, and so you know
what
what that
happened?
means.
You know what happened?
Only one thing that could mean.
Well, he's buttoning it up just to unbutton it in 2 more seconds. Did you see
Exactly.
that?
A classic post-coital move.
Mm.
Comrade Bane goes over to the door that he assumes is locked, tries to open it, finds out that in fact he can, and then closes it back up because
Yeah, because dehydration. Like they had the energy, they had the fuel in their body and enough water to make love, right? Ugh. Stop it. The baller
why
move, he would have just left right there. He was just going, bye.
is your peanuts?
Well, essentially, aren't they stowaways at this point?
Well, but here's the thing, right? So I guess the theory is the reason they were able to really get back together is because they had no choice to leave, but they obviously both had a choice to leave, which I guess is
Right.
in a way the point. But guess what? You could probably go sneak into the buffet or something like that, right? And get some food and come back.
Right. You're like,
Hey, 'cause guess
no.
what? You're not gonna leave at this point.
Imagine she left and ate a bunch of food while he was asleep and came back. Oh,
I almost assume they both did that.
it
They had
just
to.
something. You're not going to live off 3 peanuts every meal. It's so stupid.
Or
Better
else
get that.
that room should be radar disgusting.
Better get that freezer ready.
Act 4, thank God. Sunset
Thank God.
on the deck, and Greg and Ellen are smooching.
There we go.
And Ghost JJ is watching up from a higher deck, and he seems a little sad.
He's just
Little,
sad.
little ghost sad.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But supposedly
speaking,
that's what he wanted.
yeah, careful what you
But
wish for, Wayne. Not Wayne.
he's just trying to
Mickey.
warn Greg. She will kill you, Greg. Do not avoid all cookout related salads.
Wayne and Linda
Mm.
got all dressed up to go to the Acapulco Lounge and just be miserable like they always are. So
Just same nonsense with Wayne, different scenery. He's
yep.
just a bore.
Finally, they decide that divorce is the best option that does not involve a hyphen.
Just okay.
Wayne, we're actually having a pleasure cruise without any pleasure. Yeah, us too, Wayne.
Yeah.
Us too,
Yeah.
brother.
Feelings mutual. Ugh. Good.
Greg and Ellen are now.
Who sold this to Peter Caulfield? Who was like, I got a great idea. Here's the role. Would you like,
I mean, it's probably cool to work with Janet Leigh and her daughter at the time.
Was he doing
yeah.
something else? I don't know who this person is.
He's in some stuff, but nothing that
not.
I really recognized. So he died pretty young, actually. So
He had a lot of hair, I'll tell you that.
He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Greg and Ellen are dancing again, and they are cutting a rug very close to the band.
Yeah, they are.
Like on top of the band.
They can't hear themselves think.
Nope.
It's Greg Elkins Esquire. Does not care about personal space when it comes to musicians.
This is where JJ does all his prop comedy, ghosting around this couple's
ghost
table.
in the yeah.
It's just if here's the funny thing, right? So ultimately, the special effects from the Halloween episode are what they do here, right? It's just a lot of or something.
Yeah.
But you should have done something here.
Something.
Not just Jimmy Walker picking up a glass.
Like, just show the glass like floating.
Right.
Or something. Give me something.
Like a guy literally walks behind Jimmy Walker and doesn't like observe a floating glass.
Right. Or do a mirror type thing. Or there's so many different things you could have done here.
Yeah. All right. Jennifer shows up at Doc's cabin.
Again.
He's like, why aren't you at your birthday party? And she's like, Wanted to celebrate with you.
Oh, here we go.
Meanwhile,
Mm.
the crew is sitting at a small table
Yeah.
in the dining room
Uh-huh.
around a giant birthday cake, waiting 45 minutes
Yeah.
for one person who is related to one of them.
Stewing would wait days for a piece of cake. And did you hear that they said that this the chef made the birthday cake?
Yep.
So now I'm wondering what
It's our
I
guy.
wish they would bring that. I wish they would bring him out one more time.
It had to be our guy.
Had to be him. He always
Romeo,
made
whatever his name
cakes,
was.
like
Yeah. Oh, what if it said happy birthday, Michelle Lee's character?
just completely. That's funny. That's funny. Mm,
This is asinine though. Like Steubing, who had no problem
it
telling
is.
Gopher to go up on a roof during a hurricane, is not going to be like, "Hey, call your sister.
I'll
I
tell
need
you
to
what.
eat this cake."
If there was a cake on that roof, Stubing would have been the first one up there on that island to get that thing off. He loves sugar.
Back at Doc's, Jennifer's asking why he's not interested, and basically he sums up pretty easily: "You're 18 and you're Gopher's sister." So, case closed.
Did
So
you see Doc's tennis trophy in his room?
I did not.
He had a big old tennis trophy. Like he was reading and he was in his PJs and he had this big old tennis trophy there. And I was like,
Look at that.
giant, like a giant tennis. Like he won Wimbledon tennis
Well,
trophy.
now, do you think that is a trophy he won on land
No.
or a boat championship?
Some lady left it behind.
It's
You
what's
know,
her name?
something.
It's the it's the lady in the wheelchair.
That's it. Now we know what happened to her back. No wonder they couldn't talk about it.
No wonder he tried to break Bixby's leg.
That's right.
Long story short here, she wants Doc to basically show him the ways of
Ugh.
love. And Doc's like, that's gross. No.
She
So
says the phrase, "I want someone experienced to show me." And I'm just like, "Oh, come on." And that's before I knew she was 16. It was
yeah.
like, "Oh,
Adam
good for
Bricker
you,
does not
Doc."
strike me as the kind of person who wants to be remembered. So I'm guessing he's not willingly taking your virginity.
No. And he's like,
So
"Breathe this rag." Yeah, yeah, he's not. That's not. Number 1, he likes them large, right? We know that. He has a
oh, you
type.
would have loved Chubbs.
He would have loved Chubb. "Look, Chubbs, I'm gonna need you to start. I need that 5 foot all around thing to happen again." Oh, he's like false advertising.
Oh God.
Oh,
All right, let's go. When Greg
yeah,
stops,
let's get out of here.
when Greg steps away to go get I think Ellen left her jacket somewhere.
Mhm.
JJ pops up to confront Ellen with his jealousy. Why else would you be falling for some jive time, dude? So
So dumb.
it's
So
kind of
dumb.
crap, but he basically guilt Ellen into ending things with Greg. Pretty abruptly. Once again, everything Ellen has done on this cruise to Greg is very abrupt.
What's it within a 72-hour window?
Yeah.
Like Greg doesn't need it because as we learned, we learned 20 times over, he's a lawyer, lawyer, lawyer. He doesn't need this. It's Greg Elkins Esquire. Get the hell out of here, Ellen.
Greg is pretty smooth though, because he's like, "Well, I thought we had something special. Guess
Yeah.
I thought wrong."
Yeah. I'm out of here.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Greg's got. There's somebody else.
Ain't
There's
nothing gonna
always
break
somebody.
my stride, Greg Elkins. Look at this guy. He's just as cool as can be.
JJ immediately feels like maybe he made a mistake, but we'll see how
Yeah,
that goes.
we'll see what happens.
Back at Cake Watch, Jennifer finally shows up. Everyone's so happy, but she shows up with Doc, so Gopher's not happy. Luckily, Jennifer explains that it was her, not Doc. Doc was a perfect gentleman. Everybody's happy. They all sing happy birthday. No one else in the entire dining room joins in. It's just these 6 people. So,
Yeah, I definitely think Stewing would have started eating the cake by now. Like he
well,
would
I
have been
mean,
like,
he said 5 minutes. He had to get back to the
5
bridge.
minutes, I'm eating that cake. I'm taking a piece of cake with me back to the bridge in 5 minutes. And by bridge, he means his room.
Taking a piece of cake, which is I cut out the slightest sliver and leave it behind.
2 hands, he's holding this. Gopher, have milk delivered to my office. Just,
He's got the steering wheel, but there's a little cake on each knob, so it's
slipping.
like when it goes by, it's just
Well, it's perfect cake for him because it's white. You know, so if he slobs it up, no one will know.
well, not just that, but you know what his favorite flavor of ice cream is? Vanilla.
Yeah. Yeah, he loves his
Les,
ice cream sundae.
Les and Gail are talking about what's next now. And Gail reveals that she knew the door's been unlocked for 3 days.
So dumb. So
Bitches, you
what
better
you're
show you both of you should have gone to the dining room and brought
Yeah,
back all the food. You had a free cruise. Nobody checks anything.
nobody checks anything. You guys are willing to risk death. Or how about you bring back a glass of water or a
You're a
glass
squirrel.
or something?
So
Anything, just
I
some
I
liquid.
don't know how much stuff works in that cabin. So
And they're not all sore from sleeping on floors. They give them that
he
like fake 5 o'clock shadow thing. Like,
I
come
couldn't
on.
sleep on a floor, and I'm a lot younger than Phil
No,
Drummond was.
no, I'm not. No. I mean, I would when I'm like suffering from 72 hours of dehydration. Sure.
Sure.
That's not really sleeping. That's more of a
No, no, when I'm
passing out
dying from
before
a
you
peanut
die.
allergy,
Yeah.
from an undiagnosed peanut allergy.
Now that's something right there. Where's my EpiPen, Gail? Ha ha ha.
Oh, it's on the other
Door,
side of the door.
yeah.
No.
Door's been unlocked for days.
Eh.
Oof.
JJ has ghost guilt
Yeah, he does. He
about his
feels bad.
jealousy, and he tries to convince Ellen to go back and fix things with Greg. She tells Mickey, "I love him more than anybody in this world." You know what that means? For the fourth and final time, here come the Coreys.
There we go.
Eat your heart out, woman. He's still mine. Come on, you old lech.
They're the best. What an encore for Mr. and Mrs. Corey to go out
Star
on.
turn. Absolute star turn.
I hope they come back.
They do not, sadly.
Ah, boo.
Yeah. JJ says that it's never too late, and he will fix it because he is a super ghost.
Yeah, he
And he
just
came
'cause
up with a crack plan, which is throw his ex-wife down the steps.
shove her. Yeah, and if she gets hurt, well, then that's just something I call revenge. Like, it's
Seriously.
okay.
Yeah, this is a Walter Perry situation.
Oof.
Here we go. So, yeah, they are walking down the steps. Well, Greg is leaving.
Mhm.
Julie wishes him goodbye because Lauren Hughes was the only crew member on set during this storyline.
No kidding.
And he's like, "Thank you very much, Julie." And then Ellen's coming down, and Jimmy Walker's just like,
Just shove her like she's the
cross check to the back. They run into each other. She apologizes. Greg's immediately like, fine.
yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
Greg does not care about much.
No, he's like, on to the next one, but this one's fine too. So they're going to live happily ever after. And then we get the definitive Jimmy Walker sad sack.
Oh, yeah.
Because they walk away kind of out of camera shot. And then he's just like, he must be the real one because she can't hear me anymore. And then he disappears with no sound. No sound. That's
that
it.
means he's gone.
He's gone through the pearly gates.
Through the pearly gates. In other words,
coleslaw heaven.
Ellen Garner got away with murder.
Yep. Twice.
Wow.
She killed him again.
They killed him again. And that's what you get for making, for talking, loose lips sink ships there. The late, great Mickey Garner. Poor guy.
Not the best Mickey.
No. Mickey O'Day was
fantastic ghost.
He would have been a great ghost. He would have been the most fun because he pretty much died in that episode and they brought him back to life.
True. And
not by a ghost 20 times.
Not by coleslaw, by sex and cocaine.
Sex and cocaine. Completely different death.
Wayne and Linda are leaving. This is where Isaac says, I hope you had a nice cruise or something like that, just so they had somebody.
Yeah.
And who emerges from who knows where, but Les and Gail, and they're like, "What the hell are you two
What are you
doing here?"
doing here?
No time to explain. But
Nothing.
the important thing is they're getting back together
Yep.
because they've solved all their problems locked in a room for 3 days.
Sure. And yet they still like it's so funny. So they come to this conclusion, but at the same time, they both withheld some pretty important information from one another. The fact that the door can open and they can leave.
Yeah.
And Mike, if you can't build a relationship on trust, what can you build it on at this point? Like what?
Well, it's not just that. If you ever
Mhm.
saw Speed 2,
Ooh, yeah.
that's not Keanu Reeves, that's Jason Patrick, and I believe there's a line they explain it. Basically, it was like, you can't build a relationship on that kind of adrenaline.
You can't. It's not
So
fair to anyone involved.
no. So this is a real Speed 2, and that was on a boat, so it all fits.
Well, that's why Keanu couldn't be in. It was too much. You know
Right.
what I mean? It was too much. I lived the role.
Speed
Yeah.
2 ripped off. This is locked away.
Totally ripped this episode off. Sure.
All right. In an episode with a ghost and people being locked in a renovated cabin
Yes.
and a million other things, this is the most illogical part. Linda and Wayne announce they are getting divorced. Conrad Bain is like, "No, you can't get divorced. We just fixed everything because we were locked in a room for 3 days." And they're like, "You're right. Never mind." Now, we have seen 5 scenes of these two clowns locked. They're not locked. That's the only difference. They're not locked in,
They
right?
weren't
But they
locked.
are on a boat for 3 days. They are
Right.
talking a lot. It is terrible.
Yeah.
So,
They can't stand each other's presence.
no. So
That
somehow
was
that
weird.
fixed them. I think Linda's a little too involved with her parents.
A little bit. A little bit.
I think Wayne also is a tryhard. And it's not going to end well. So, but they walk off like it's the yellow brick road, and that's the end of it. So,
They really do like, well, everything's wrapped up here. Like,
yep.
no, it's not. We had a whole new world there. You're ending, you're beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we finish up here with an unnecessary scene of Jennifer celebrating, kind of thanking everybody for her birthday celebration and all this nonsense. And I don't know. There's no real point to this last scene.
No.
Doc's
Right.
like, sorry, still not dating that 18-year-old
Yeah.
who might be 16.
Right.
So Jennifer gets a zinger in when Danny Terrio tries to hit on her. He's like, "I
Communicate
don't go to
through
the
dance
zoo."
with her. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it. That is a pretty
That's a whole lot
bad
of nothing.
end to a bad episode. So
I never looked up the IMDb rating for this episode. I've
7,
kind of
it's a
given up
7.
on
The
that.
whole season is 7. We can't look
That's
at
what
this.
they don't even. It doesn't even mean anything. I mean, the highs and the lows mean more, but the average one doesn't
Yeah.
really.
No, it's
I don't trust their evaluation.
totals in a recap. I would like to open with our second correction from the corrections department.
Really?
We have been referring to episode 2 of this season as the best, the King of the Mountain, the
Yes.
leader in the clubhouse for the Stubby.
Right.
Come to my attention that on episode 3 of this season, we referenced that episode being the best of the season. And then whoever's in charge of this segment, me,
Drop the ball. Yeah.
apparently did not record correctly. So what
Episode
is
3.
the better episode? Episode 2, which is Jimmy Bayo, James Coco, and
Right.
Norman Fell. Okay. Or is it episode 3, which is the cruise ship Casanova?
Oh, it's
And
got to be number 3. It's number
yeah,
3.
and that's
Yeah.
what we said. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. So there you go.
Yeah.
So we will correct that moving forward. Episode 3 is the current leader for best episode. Apologies to everyone who
Sorry,
let us
Billy
know about
Crystal.
that. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, but
It is embarrassing. That's all right.
we'll do better.
Well,
Try to.
plus
We
you
promise.
have the weird numbering too when you get those two-parters. So I
Yeah.
think that's part of the confusion there too.
More importantly, is this the
Mhm.
worst episode of season 1 too? So we currently have the Red Buttons episode in there,
Ooh.
but I will argue that Richard Mulligan was really good in there.
I agree.
They had a
Yeah,
fight and stuff.
I would say that this is significantly worse
Yeah.
than the red buttons. Is this the
I think
worst of
this
the
is the
season?
worst episode. I think this is the worst episode we've had since the Annette Funicello episode.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think that they just punted this episode to this season. It was really nothing
This is
happened.
this is where I would like to posit my cast switch.
Mm.
Would you have switched Ellen and Greg into the Annette Funicello and that guy role? So Annette Funicello and the other guy, they get ghosts. Meanwhile, Greg and
Well,
Ellen get to actually
who's
just
Annette
be
Funicello's ghost? Who's the ghost that same
no, Jimmy
circumstances?
Walker. Jimmy Walker.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Walker, same.
Yeah.
So Annette Funicello killed Jimmy Walker, same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. 100% same thing. Just switching those two out. Be so much better.
Well, we agree that they wasted Annette Funicello in
Right.
that episode.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
she's
I
basically
can't argue
playing
with
Ellen
that.
Garner in this. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I think she would do a better job than, no offense to, Will Smith's mom and the
Yeah.
Fresh Prince. And again, nothing was wrong with the Greg, but yeah, no, I could see that. I think that would make it I think it actually would have made it a bit better.
This was better than 23 because, like, at least there was something going on. But this is the most, like, I don't care. Let's get going.
It's
Since
close,
that
man.
episode,
It's close to
pretty
23.
pretty
Yeah.
bad. Captain of the week.
Well, Virtue wins this week for me. Therefore, I'm going to go with Doc.
All
Because
right.
if Virtue didn't win, this might have been the last episode of the Love Boat 1978. The statutory rape episode. Good Lord.
Ugh. I will go with the Greg and Ellen combination.
Okay.
I really did enjoy them. I did not the JJ part, but the actual Greg and Ellen as a couple, and the acting that came with it. I thought those two were really good.
I agree.
Walk the plank. Plenty of choices here.
I'm going to make it real simple. Wayne.
Yeah.
He was just terrible. He didn't bring much to the table. His character was weak. He was I didn't need Wayne at all.
No. And it's
It
like,
could have been just her. Jamie Lee Curtis could have been in a room by herself.
yeah,
We didn't need Wayne.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like there's parts of the rest of that crew that I can at least stomach. Wayne had nothing.
No, Wayne stinks.
No, Wayne down the drain. That is totals and a recap for this week.
All right. Let's check the old mailbag, Mike.
Oh, exciting.
Let's see.
Can the streak continue?
Got any mail? The streak is over, Mike.
Oh, well, three's
No mail this week.
We proved a point.
Yeah, we proved the point. We know the email.
I'd like you guys to write in. What was our question earlier? There was some question about
Canadian Walk of Fame.
Well, there was that question, and then we need to know, how did Jimmy Walker die? Was it coleslaw poisoning or was it combustible coleslaw?
I'd say combustible, just for alliteration purposes, combustible coleslaw really rolls off the tongue. Just gonna say.
I think I know where that's gonna go.
Well, yeah. As I pull out my Sharpie. All right.
A lot of food titles on this show.
Yeah, a lot of yeah, I would love to know Tiny Poultry. We could go on. Plugs, Mike? Anything to plug?
Yeah, Absolutely Hammered on the Hidden Season Patreon. Every Wednesday we have a free episode that's out. Came out the end of last week, so you can still hear it, and otherwise go on Patreon and listen to us talk about the baseball team that is currently plummeting.
That's a rough one right now.
Yep. It's better than this episode, though.
Ooh, yeah. Plugs, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook. You can also find us everywhere you get your audio podcasts: iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, and all of our audio and video podcast episodes are currently, right now, are up on the Love Boat Project YouTube page. And if you could hit that subscribe button, we would really, really appreciate it.
Smash.
Smash it.
Smash it.
Hit a like, give us a review, and subscribe.
It's a very if you have if you have to walk across the country, it'll fill
Yeah.
your time. It's
Mm-hmm.
plenty of hours of listening.
Tons of hours of listening. If you plan on hands across America or feet across America, I guess
Forrest Gump. If you just want to start
Forrest
running.
Gump. Yeah. Then when you get to I'm done running, then you might be done. You might be caught up with episode 33. There you go. On the next episode, Mike, we're going to meet another Mission Impossible star, Mr. Peter Graves. And we welcome back the great Mr. Larry Storch is back.
Oh no, the Storch is
I hope he's
loose.
playing the same role. Oh, I love Larry Storch.
Sweaty, just sweating.
Sweaty criminal. Fantastic.
Oh my goodness! Wow, what a triumphant return. We have not had any 2-episode people yet for this season, so that category is wide open if anybody shows up twice. So good luck. Could be you. Could be you, Larry Storch.
Could be you taking home a trophy, Larry Storch.
All right. Well, next week we will be back with a guest and the minister and the stripper.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Hopefully everybody's age appropriate. But otherwise, thanks, Mike. We will talk to all of you next week.
Thanks. Bye.